These three men possess tremendous power.
I think the way you're seeing the game change is there's a lot of guys that have a lot of power and they're starting to use it more.
That one headed to the bleachers. Gone!
These three men share a mutual respect.
There's no need to compare or who's going to do this and that.
Just him in a lineup alone makes the lineup scary.
You know, we're all for the same goal.
It's going to be quite a lot of fun.
Deep to center field and gone.
For the next 3 nights, these three men swing for mammoth home runs out of the Texas heat.
Yeah, there is going to be a lot of strength in this series. Some big sluggers, maybe some good speed as well. A big series for the Rangers and the Yankees. The opener, this 3-game set tonight from Globe Life Park. Hello again, everybody. Great to be with you. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski. It should be fun. Obviously, a headline when the Yankees come through town these days with some of the muscle that they're able to provide. The Rangers don't shy away from it, though. They've got some big sluggers as well. This might end up like home run derby.
Yeah, and hopefully just on the Rangers side of things, this is really the all-tight end series right now when you think about some of the monsters in both of these lineups. So we're going to talk about power. We're going to talk about distance of home runs. The StatCast era started in 2015, and 5 of the men that have hit the 8 longest home runs so far in the StatCast era are in the ballpark tonight. And we're going to show you what these guys have done, and we're going to start with Joey Gallo and that 490-foot home run that he hit in Los Angeles against the Angels a year ago. An absolute bomb. And then Nomar Mazara, who's having a great year, also has this kind of power. This is back in 2016 when he went into the upper deck here at Globe Life Park. Gary Sanchez, the catcher for the Yankees, a guy you have to keep an eye on. And really, when you think about the big names, one that you can easily sleep on because you're focusing on Aaron Judge and his 490-foot home run that he hit a year ago in Yankee Stadium. And then the biggest acquisition of the offseason, Giancarlo Stanton, 504 feet a couple of years ago in Colorado. So a lot of power in the ballpark. All of these pitchers, not just the starters, are going to be on alert tonight.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the one thing we'll keep an eye on. Certainly the home run power on both these sides. But tonight, maybe some attention should be paid to the starting pitching. Bartolo Colon chasing one of the immortals, Juan Marichal. We'll put Big Bart in our spotlight when we come back. Rangers baseball is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency.
And Bartolo Colon are at the top of the list. But when comparing wins, Marichal reigns supreme. The Dominican dandy was one of the greatest control pitchers of his time. Renowned for his ultra-high leg kick, Marichal won more games in the 1960s than any other pitcher. He was the first Latino to toss a no-hitter, the first to 200 wins, and the first Dominican-born player inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. A spot-up specialist in his own right, Big Sexy has amassed 242 wins in 21 seasons, one victory shy of his fellow countrymen. Will Cologne match Marichal tonight?
Welcome in Globe Life Park, Rangers and Yankees opening game of this three-game series. And yeah, little history on the line tonight for Bartolo Colon. And now that he is just one away, certainly seems like the right time to focus in on the big fella and what he is about to get done. You look at Dominican-born pitchers and the great history of the Dominican on Major League Baseball. Juan Marichal, the Dominican dandy, all-time greatest, 243. Colon, one behind him. Even Pedro Martinez, 219 wins, well in the rearview mirror. So let's put the Big Sexy in the Shiner Box spotlight tonight.
And he certainly deserves to be there. Look what he did Wednesday in Seattle. Bartolo Colon, 7 2/3 scoreless innings, and it was, of course, the great command with the fastball, that front door two-seamer to left-handers. We'll see a bunch of that, but don't forget about the defense. Bartolo Colon using his body, whatever it takes, to knock the ball down, keep it in front of you, and a big smile from Big Sexy when it was all said and done. But a big afternoon for him in Seattle.
Tell you what, it's all fun and games with Bartolo Colon. He is such a delight to watch, so he is set to go tonight if the Rangers started hopefully on the right foot in this series with the New York Yankees. Now the Rangers coming home after a long road trip, a 9-gamer through 3 cities, and it wasn't always the best of times for the Rangers for a little State of the Union. Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, a disappointing 3-6 road trip for these Rangers. And in talking to John Daniels today, he said obviously the season off to a very disappointing start. This is not what they were looking for. And as far as player development is concerned, which is priority number one, it has been a mixed bag. He said some guys are being, moving along just fine. Others need to step up in certain areas. He said it's up to the coaches to provide that environment in which they can thrive, and then it's up to the players to execute. So there's not so much blame to go around, but there's plenty of work to be done on both sides with the coaching staff and with the players together, and he's looking for that to happen sooner rather than later.
A lot of youth, we're certainly aware of that. Thank you, Emily. And so a lot of growth and development still to come, but you can't sacrifice wins entirely along the way, and that's a big part of the development as we get ready for a good test here this week against the Yankees. 30-13 overall. Let's take a look at their lineup tonight. Brett Gardner leading it off in left field. Aaron Judge, the dangerous right fielder. Giancarlo Stanton, the DH. Then it's Gregorius, Gary Sanchez, the catcher. Aaron Hicks in center field. Austin Walker and Gleyber Torres, their rookie second baseman, rounding it out.
Yeah, and they'll be going up against Bartolo Colon, as we mentioned, the big righty. And we're going to show you what he has been featuring so far this season. And we know the Bartolo Colon story. It is all about the two-seam fastball. 69% usage for him so far this season. That is a career high. The four-seam fastball at 14%, and just an occasional changeup and the slider pitches that he does not use very often. The slider, though, he has used very effectively. Just a 158 batting average against that pitch this year. And the defense, which is delivered to you by the Texas Department of Transportation. Behind Bartolo Colon, Joey Gallo, Delano DeShields, and Nomar Mazara in the outfield. It's going to be Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Jurickson Profar, Ruben Odor, and Ronald Guzman, along with Robinson Chirinos behind the plate tonight, catching Bartolo Colon.
So we're set to go. Great crowd on hand here for a Monday night. Yankees 30-13, best record in baseball. And that was after a slow start for them, a 9-9 beginning to the season. At one time found themselves 7.5 games out of first place. But what a turnaround it has been as Colon gets us started tonight. Ball 1 issued to Gardner. 85 degrees here at game time. Lots of sunshine on a warm Monday evening. And a strike makes it 1-1.
How about those two pitches? That first one, to me, looked like it caught the top of the strike zone. It was called a ball. And then that one looked like it might have finished out of the zone. And Brett Gardner was not too happy with this call. You see the late movement, and maybe that movement a little bit even catching Jerry Davis off guard. But I think the first pitch was a strike and the second one was a ball, but it went the other way. And now Gardner chases one out of the zone because of that previous call.
Well, I definitely know what that one was. It's 1-2 the count on Gardner. Jerry Davis, he played umpire and crew chief. Next pitch fouled away, so Gardner stays alive.
He looks angry already, doesn't he, Brett Gardner, based on how this at-bat has gone for him. It's been a little bit of a struggle. We showed you those numbers, 225 batting average for him, and you can see it right there. Swing and misses against righties this year for Brett Gardner, second in all of Major League Baseball. You don't necessarily look at him as a big swing and miss guy, but he's been this year.
Pops this one foul back behind the plate. Very much a veteran player. Gardner, 34 years old. He's the longest tenured Yankee. Drafted in 2005. And he's been a fixture in left field for New York for the last 8 years. 1-2 pitch, very high. One of the things about Gardner too has been the growth in his game, even at this later stage in power. Off a career high 21 home runs last year. Colon serves this one up, and that's well stroked out to left field over Gallo's head and up against the wall. Gardner with good speed, but he'll pull up at second with a leadoff double.
You see it, sixth double of the year for Brett Gardner, and Joey Gallo is playing shallow. You're going to see it here. There's a two-seam fastball, started in, came back over the plate, but it was elevated. Gardner was able to drive it. Watch as this ball gets in the air. You're going to see Joey Gallo, who was playing somewhat shallow, and I don't think he would have got to this ball anyway, as it was well driven, but nice job by Brett Gardner to go the other way.
Showing a little pop the other way as well. So he's out there in scoring position now for Aaron Judge. Colon immediately into the stretch. And Judge bounces this one to shortstop, but Profar couldn't get it out of the glove. So he'll have to settle for Judge. He had a play at third if he wanted it, but just couldn't seem to dislodge it.
That's pretty interesting when you watch Church and Profar. We'll get a look at it on the replay, because this was not great base running by Brett Gardner. Whenever that ball is in front of you to your right, you're not supposed to take the base, and you see that little bit of an exchange in the struggles that Profar was having on the ball. But watch, this ball's to his right. He's supposed to stay still, because if Jurickson Profar comes up and makes this throw, Brett Gardner is out. Because of the fumbling around, that exchange, he was safe.
But you could see too, even on the throw to first, he didn't get a traditional or conventional grip of the baseball. It was like almost held like a changeup. He had all four of his fingers and the thumb on the baseball. So he was holding on for dear life as Stanton swings and foul tips that one. 1-1.
Take a look at Jurickson Profar on that exchange. You see the ball kind of in his fingertips, and he was struggling to get it in his hand. The nice changeup grip that he had right there. So he made the right choice, but then realized he had to hurry as well.
Almost sailed on him to first. A ball and a strike to Giancarlo Stanton with that big closed stance. That is as exaggerated a closed stance as I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that was an adjustment for him that he had made. He was having some struggles after getting hit in the face, especially on pitches away, and was pulling off. But it is that back foot that really sticks out. It's closed, but it's the back foot, I think, that sticks out more than the front foot.
Well, he strikes out. Oh, just got a piece. He'll stay alive.
And what's interesting too, when you watch him swing, and we've seen this, that back foot goes further back as he swings. It's kind of the old traditional way of thinking about hitting. Watch his back foot. See how it comes up in the air. And you'll hear that little league phrase, squash the bug with your back foot, but you'll see a lot of really good big league hitters where that back foot actually comes up in the air. Stanton does it. Bryce Harper does it.
Well, the 1-2. It's in the dirt. It's not the way they teach it, and not just at Little League. Even at the big league level, they wouldn't teach you to.
But Jose Altuve does the same thing, right? That kind of scissor kick thing where the back foot actually goes in the opposite direction. You got to be a pretty special athlete to be able to do that with confidence and be able to hit big league pitching, but it certainly has worked for the three guys that we mentioned.
Well, and generate power. I mean, that's a big part of it too. 2-2. Well, a near miss. Full count on Stanton, and makes it a somewhat protracted at bat. Here's This will be the 7th pitch now. With Didi Gregorius waiting in the on-deck circle. Man at third, 1 out. That one's fouled away. Well, obviously, one of the major stories of the offseason was the acquisition of this guy. Stanton, all those years in Miami. Well, he played for the Marlins in one of the more pitcher-friendly ballparks, a tough place to hit a home run. Acquired by the Yankees via trade, and now moves to one of the more hitter-friendly and home run-friendly ballparks in New York. And he swings and misses. Big strikeout for Bartolo Colon, 2 away.
That was a big one in a big spot, and Bartolo Colon did an excellent job of getting Stanton to expand the zone. He really didn't look that comfortable in this at bat. You see that pitch is probably just off the plate, but the runner in scoring position. Stanton wanting that RBI. You see that extension, could not get to that fastball from Bartolo.
All right, so now a chance for Colon to get out of this inning with no damage done, but a tough task in front of him here in Didi Gregorius. Back-to-back left-handed hitters. And Gregorius takes strike 1.
Yeah, Gregorius has had a really good year for the Yankees. You see what he's done now, but the batting average has come down. He got off to a really great start. You see what he's done against Bartolo Colon, but the number that sticks out, the home runs and then the OPS. He has never been looked at as that kind of power threat, but he has been so far here in 2018.
Fouls it back to count 0-2.
I mean, there were a chance of maybe MVP for Didi Gregorius after this April that he had, but you see now what has happened in May, and he has really struggled at 109 batting average, just 1 RBI. I mean, what a difference in OPS. And what has happened with Didi Gregorius is teams have caught on a little bit. He has been so good and quick in, taking advantage of that short right field porch in Yankee Stadium. Teams have been pitching him a little bit away more often, and that has been an issue for Didi Gregorius.
It's been a long struggle for him now. 1 hit in his last 45 at bats. Gardner at third, infield back. The 0-2. And this one sent out to center field, but the Shields is there, and the inning is over. So Bartolo Colon on 19 pitches puts his first 0 up on the board, and now the Rangers go to work. Baseball, as we take a look at our Southwest lineup for the Rangers. Delano DeShields leading it off. Shin-Soo Choo, the DH, bats second. Then it's Kiner Falefa, Mazara, and Profar in the heart of things. Joey Gallo bats sixth. Odor, Chirinos, and Ronald Guzman rounds it out for Jeff Bannister and the Rangers. All against Masahiro Tanaka. 4-2 this year with a .473 earned run average. The right-hander's first pitch in there for a strike.
Well, Masahiro Tanaka coming out right out of the chute with a slider to start the game. You're talking about old adages like squashing the bug, keeping your foot down. Well, first pitch fastball to start a game, that's way gone as well.
Ground ball, Karam slightly off the mound to Torres, and his throw to first just in time. Shields grounds out 4-3, 1 away.
It's a nice job by Torres. There's a pitch, and it was another slider, and it looked like it was hit a little bit harder, but it slowed down. But Torres knew as well that he had to hurry with the Lino to Shields running, and the rookie made a very nice play as he gets the Lino to Shields by a couple of steps.
All right, so 1 away. Here's Chu. DH today, got the start in right field yesterday, and takes one high. Chu 1 for 4 with a strikeout yesterday. He's hit safely now in 6 of the last 7 games, though. Good numbers against Tanaka in his career. It's 1-1.
I wonder if that's why Masahiro Tanaka came out throwing a first pitch curveball. That is a pitch he doesn't use very often, but he tried to flip one in there to Chu. And whenever you've had a guy that has hit you well, you just start trying some different things that you might not normally do.
Boy, that just missed. 2-1. I thought the whole idea was to save stuff for later.
Well,
he's trying it all out there right away.
He is, and I think it's really just kind of a product of him kind of maturing over his big league career, understanding these hitters a little bit more. For Masahiro Tanaka, a guy that doesn't have an overpowering fastball, but it is a good one. And when he first got here to the States, it was all about that pinpoint command that he had with the fastball. He's made some pretty big adjustments, especially going back to last year. He just doesn't throw the fastball nearly as much as he used to.
Like Chu trying to sell the walk right there, but that was a strike. Full count.
By a lot.
No, I mean, that was not all that close, but that's okay. I appreciate the effort.
Maybe not a future in sales for Shin-Soo Choo.
Now they've got the shift on him. And he'll take low. That is ball 4. So he got it eventually. That's the thing. You ask. Look, sometimes it takes 9 no's to get the 1 yes in sales, and he just got the yes.
Let's take a look at the pitch arsenal for Masahiro Tanaka. What he has done so far this year. Mentioned it, the slider and the split finger are used more than the fastball. You see the percentages there, and I thought really surprising to see the curveball because he only throws it 5% of the time. Now the split finger is the go-to pitch for Masahiro Tanaka. Just a 165 batting average against that pitch with no home runs. The slider as well, a 206 batting average. So those 2 secondary offerings have been very good for Tanaka this year.
So he goes to work on Kiner Falefa, batting in the 3-hole again today and playing third base. Got a day off yesterday. He's been grinding it out a lot here in his rookie season. Rangers have asked him to start at short, to start at second. Lately been the everyday man at third. Playing nearly every day. Gets ahead here 2-0, and so even the young guys occasionally will need a day off.
And look what he has done among rookies right now as far as most hits. And Duhar, remember the Yankees not in the lineup tonight, but Isaiah Kiner Falefa third right now with his 29 hits. And of course he didn't break camp with the team. He was a call up after all the injuries that the Rangers have had to deal with. So he's done a very nice job.
Well, ahead here 2-0, and takes a strike.
I think the Rangers have to be thrilled with what they have seen from Kiner Falefa so far. Not just what he's done offensively, but the ability to use him in multiple positions. And not just he could throw him in a position and he could do okay. He's held his own at multiple positions around the infield so far this year.
I mean, just rock solid defensively. 2-1. Hard ground ball at short. That one dropped by Gregorius, and so they'll only get the 1 out at second. That thing jumped up on Gregorius a little bit, banged off his chest, so probably happy to get the 1 out at second.
His ball was hit hard. It was a slider, and you see that hop for Didi Gregorius, caught him in the chest, and at that point realizes you're just going to try to get 1, and it was the glove flip from Didi, who does a nice job defensively For the Yankees, he probably had a little bit more time than he realized, but at least he gets that one out.
So 1 away, Kiner Falefa replacing Chu. And here's Nomar Mazara, cleanup man tonight. 276 average, 10 home runs. He didn't get, a real big spotlight in our open feature. We saw a lot of big home runs and smiling faces and quotes from Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, and Joey Gallo. But listen, here's a guy double digits in home runs. And as you pointed out earlier, every bit as much power when it comes to home run distance. And tonight, we're going to honor him as the TXU Energy Power Player to watch. We're keeping a close eye on this guy because look at those last 7 home games, basically the last homestand, 5 home runs, 9 RBIs, had the walk-off on that Wednesday afternoon game against Detroit. Tied the game earlier with a home run, walked it off in extras. Comes up empty here, it's 0-2.
Going back to his rookie year a couple of years ago, watching kind of Nomar burst on the scene a little bit and seeing what he has done now through a couple of years, but what this 2018 season has been so far for him has been a giant leap forward. It's still a long way to go, but this is what you kind of imagine so far. You see what he's done through 47 games, which is a batting average that can get you in the high 200s, and OPS well above league average at 834. He uses the entire field. It's been a really good start to the season so far for Nomar.
2 gone, a man at first, and that one is inside. Late start. Kiner Falefa steals second. The throw goes out into center, and he'll head to third on the throwing error. Some aggressive base running from Isaiah Kiner Falefa. His 3rd stolen base of the year, and the error on Sanchez.
And Gary Sanchez has a strong arm. I don't know if Isaiah went with the delayed steal. He did. You see kind of the secondary lead, couple of hops and then go. So it was not a straight steal. Put a little pressure on Sanchez, who had to go down and get this breakable. I see him peeking in right there, then realized that kind of Falefa was going and tried to rush that throw. And how about that leap from Didi Gregorius to get over Isaiah kind of Falefa, but a good job by Isaiah to put some pressure on Gary Sanchez.
Interesting. Now just 90 feet away. Ball and 2 strikes on Nomar. Oh, that's in the dirt. 2-2. So Tanaka issued the walk to Chu, who is replaced on the fielder's choice by Kiner Falefa, who used his speed to get to third. Mazara would love to bat him in here in the first inning, get that first run of this series. He hits his ball sharply foul. He's done well against Tanaka in the past. In fact, as recently as last year, right here.
He knew it right away. This is September of last year. Nomar Mazara taking Masahiro Tanaka way out at Globe Life Park, showing off that great power. He's pretty excited about. Big one, but you're right. Trying to find a way now with 2 strikes. It's a big hole open on the left side of the infield for Nomar if he could poke a ground ball through to get Kiner Falefa home.
Inside, it's a full count. We saw him do it a couple of times in Chicago. He was pretty adept at doing that, especially with 2 strikes. There you see the shift.
Yeah, I'm surprised with 2 strikes for him because he handles the bat so well. He's got great back control. He hits the ball the other way for power, and if he gets something out over the plate to handle, he could absolutely hit you a firm ground ball where that big hole is on the left side of the infield.
Rangers went 8 for 37 in that 4-game series in Chicago with runners in scoring position. And that is low ball 4, so they're on the corners. Good at bat by Mazara to earn that walk.
Really, both Mazara and Chu had excellent at-bats against Tanaka. What Tanaka does so well is that he gets hitters to go out of the zone. Going back to 2014, his rookie year, no pitcher has induced hitters to swing at pitches that are not strikes than Masahiro Tanaka. He has been the best in baseball, but Chu was able to lay off The 3-2 pitch that was down below the zone. Nomar Mazara just did the same exact thing. It's that kind of patience that the Rangers are going to have if they want to beat Masahiro Tanaka.
So on the corners now for Jurickson Profar. And Tanaka bounces it up there. So he is already thrown 20 pitches now. Rangers making him work just a little bit. 10th start of the year for Tanaka, just 29 years old. He's pitching on extended 5 days rest. His last start was a suspended game. Went 5 innings, was lifted for a pinch hitter. It was a National League game against the Nationals. And that one in there for a strike. It's 1-1.
So far tonight, watching Jerry Davis and this strike zone up near the top of the strike zone, seems like it hasn't been called those borderline pitches, but pitches away off the plate, especially to left-handed hitters, it looks like the zone will be a little bit wide tonight.
To Witt. There's strike 2.
You saw the Brett Gardner reaction, obviously, in his first at-bat. Wasn't happy and then found himself swinging at some pitches that he may have let go. That call wasn't made earlier, but it's one of those things with umpires. We talk about it all the time. Consistency is all you want. Might be a little bit wide tonight, but as long as it stays wide the entire night, you know that when you dig in as a hitter.
Rangers have worked a couple of base runners off Tanaka here. Still looking for a hit in the inning. Profile, little roller right side. It's picked up by Gregorius, and it will end the inning. So the Rangers leave him on the corners. We've played one, no score tonight. As we get ready to go here in the second, our Kubota power stats on Bartolo Colon. How much fun is he? How about this? 8 strikeouts per walk this year. That is an absurd ratio, best in Major League Baseball. It's not because he's a big-time strikeout pitcher. Obviously, any Ranger fan who has watched him this year knows that he's not overpowering anymore, not the way he used to be. It's that impeccable command. Just 4 walks in his 52 innings pitched. Sanchez with a little broken bat, flare to center, and DeShields knocks it down, but it is in for a hit, second of the night for New York. DeShields not happy about it.
He's not, but I will tell you that there's not too many center fielders that even make this a potential play. I thought off the bat that this was definitely going to get down, but Delino actually made a run at it. It's a good jump. He read it well. All things considered, when you have those kind of broken bat jam swings, a lot of center fielders will get fooled by that. Delino did not. He was unable to get there. Just not enough hang time on that ball as he makes that forward dive, and an excellent attempt by Delino.
Now Aaron Hicks, and he takes a strike. Hicks, 250 average, 4 homers.
You mentioned that about Bartolo Colon, and the strikeout rate, just 5.7 strikeouts per 9. That's well below league average, but that absurd walk rate, 0.7 walks per 9.
He gets a pop-up here on the left side, and Kiner Falefa able to get to it, so 1 away. Well, I got a Texas Chili Company $1 hot dog night coming up. Rangers and Yankees in a 6 o'clock game on Wednesday. Coming out to Globe Life Park and enjoy ballpark hot dogs for just $1 each. TexasRangers.com for tickets. 972 Rangers. If you want to order those tickets by phone.
It's what's amazing too about that walk rate is that hot dog looks delicious. There are actually 3 big league pitchers right now with a sub-1 walk per 9 rate. Bartolo, as we mentioned, 0.7. Mikolas, who's done a really nice job with the St. Louis Cardinals, and Daniel Megden with the Oakland A's. 3 starters right now that have a less than 1 walk per 9 rate. Pretty incredible. Bartolo Colon in all of his years has never had a walk rate like this. I mean, listen, nobody really has. Sub-1 is just an absurd number.
Great backhand behind third, and Kiner Falefa throws out Tyler Austin. Another sterling defensive play. 2 away.
He has been so much fun to watch and gets this opportunity in the big leagues, and he's taking full advantage of it wherever he plays. Of course, we're so used to seeing Adrian Beltre make these plays all the time, but Isaiah Kiner Falefa with the backhand on the short hop near the line, fields it cleanly, slides, gets up, makes an excellent throw over to first base in Ronald Guzman.
Yeah, tap my glove. Way to go. That's how we do it. It's big leagues.
It's nice having that big target, right? In those situations as well for a third base. When you pop up, you know you have to hurry. Ronald Guzman, an easy target over at first.
There he is, and a big ability to stretch. 6'5" long arms. And he's got good actions over there at first base too. He's proven to be a real nice defensive addition. Meanwhile, Gary Sanchez able to advance to second base on the ground out, but 2 away. 1 strike pitch to Walker, and it's off the plate.
And I think it's worth noting, right, as we go through this period right now for the Texas Rangers, where there are a lot of young guys in the lineup, a lot of opportunities. Isaiah Kiner Falefa, Jurickson Profar, Ronald Guzman, and they're figuring it out offensively. Some ups and downs are going to happen, but to see the defense and to see them play well, run prevention is just as important as the offense, and that's certainly an area in which the Rangers could improve. They have struggled a little bit defensively this year, and so to see these young guys step in the way that they have, play some good defense, it takes a little while to learn how to hit at the big league level, but you want to make sure that the guys are showing you something, and they have at times offensively, but they're certainly showing you a lot defensively.
Well, they set up straight away here on Walker for the most part. And this one out to left field. Long run for Gallo, and he won't get to it. Drops in way in front of him. Walker drives in the first run of the game. Yankees lead 1-0 on a bloop double to left.
Well, 2 bloop hits for the New York Yankees. We talk about the big power that they have in the lineup, but it was a broken bat hit by Gary Sanchez to center, and now the changeup here from Bartolo Colon that was hit off the end of the bat by Neil Walker, not hit hard at all. Some weak contact from Bartolo, unfortunately, is the first run of this game.
Yeah, I had no idea. Off the bat, it was hard to tell that it was going to die that short of Joey Gallo. He did not hit that one all that well, but he hit it in the right spot as Gleyber Torres now takes strike 1. So a run in for the Yankees. Walker still in scoring position for the young rookie here, Gleyber Torres. 309 average, 4 home runs. And he hits this ball well out to left field. Gallo will look. That one is gone. 5th home run of the year for Torres, and the Yankees lead 3-0.
Again, as much as we talk about the middle of this Yankee lineup and the damage that they can do, the fact that Gleyber Torres hits 9th in this lineup and has gotten off to the start in his career that we have seen as he gets a 2-seam fastball that runs in, does a nice job of pulling the hands in, getting the barrel to it, and getting that ball up in the air as it carries well out of here at Globe Life Park. He is an impressive young player. Really speaks to the depth of the Yankees system right now. Guy right there. Looks like he might be headed to a pretty good big league career.
Certainly off to a very fast start. Gardner takes low. 2-0 the count. Gardner had the double in the first inning, eventually was stranded at third base. Yankees jump out quickly. And a bouncer down to first base, and that one goes underneath Guzman and into right field. So Gardner to second base. He'll turn and head to third, but it lodged under the padding. He may have to return. Second time that has happened in the last, well, less than a week now. Happened in Chicago where Mazzara went out for a ball in right field and it stuck under the pads.
That's a great shot. That ball is definitely wedged in there. And a conversation right now with Aaron Boone is happening, and I wonder if the question is whether or not Ronald Guzman touched that ball, and does it matter at that point?
Well, Guz is a big guy,
yeah,
but he's trying to be as small as possible right now because that one hurts to let it go right underneath you and down into that right field corner, and then for it to become a longer, more extended issue as they discuss where Brett Gardner should be. That's no fun either.
Yeah, I don't think that makes a difference.
I don't know why.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of interesting. Usually not, and that ball's stuck in there regardless, but you think about when that comes into play, how often would a player actually touch a ball and then that happens?
Not very.
No, certainly, especially when to get to the wall with that kind of velocity to get stuck under the wall.
So it's a 2-base error. Gardner in scoring position, and it gets Judge to the plate. Boy, Judge has modified, pardon me, I will retract that last statement, cede my time to the congressman. He grounded out in the first inning. 0 for 1. Big right-handed hitter. There's something about the number 99 as I watch him in there that just says, like, this is the biggest piece of clothing we could find. And when you put a man like him in that jersey and it looks, you know, like a good fit, maybe even a tad small, it's an intimidating look. Bouncer third, Kiner Falefa, another great throw. Judge retired and the inning is done, but some damage done as well. Yankees score the first 3 runs of the game. Big homer by Gleyber Torres. Played 1.5. Yankees on top. 15,000 fans on Saturday get a Star Wars Han Gallo bobblehead, courtesy of Medical City Healthcare. Saturday, 3:05 game, Rangers-Royals. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com. Call 972 Rangers. Come on out and see us. Gallo starting things off here in the second. It'll be Joey and then Rougned Odor and Robinson Chirinos. 6, 7, and 8 batters in the order. Tanaka, this is outside again, 2-0. Tanaka threw 23 pitches in the first inning. You see the shift that they use on Gallo, not a surprise. And he hits his ball well. Out to right field. Will it get upper deck? Gone! A massive blast, and the Rangers are on the board. The 14th home run of the year for Gallo.
These are so fun to watch with Joey Gallo because of the tremendous power, and it has continued now in his second full season in the big leagues and getting the Rangers on the board after the Yankees scored 3 in the top of this second inning. As you see his teammates giving him some high fives, and well, there's certain guys you just really enjoy watching hit home runs, and Joey Gallo with that home run right there is one of those guys. 422 feet when it was all said and done.
He needed it. He needed it. Just one home run in the previous 12 games. Maybe that one will get him started. Odor drags a bunt, first base side. It's not going to work out this time. Austin able to get to the bag first, one away, but I don't mind the idea.
Let's take a look at this, and there's a really nice look at the split finger fastball. That's on a 2-0 count. And Masahiro Tanaka knows that he has to keep that in the zone. And the idea there for him is, I don't want to throw Joey Gallo a fastball 2-0 knowing he's going to take a big swing. The pitch doesn't matter. It's the location and in the strike zone with an exit velocity of 103 miles per hour. That's all Joey Gallo needs. And Masahiro Tanaka probably a little shaken right there and think, I'll just throw him a 2-0 split. He'll take it or he'll swing and miss. No, not Joey Gallo. He scored that one up and hit it a long way.
That's a 10th home run that Tanaka has allowed this year, and that's been a bit of an issue for him. Last year he struggled with home runs. In fact, over 21% of his fly balls left the yard. It was the worst home run per fly ball rate in baseball. So when you can elevate off Tanaka, and basically means he leaves that splitter up a little bit, and you got a good shot to drive it a long way. 0-2 to Chirinos, and he swings and misses. So a strikeout, 2 away. You see the most home runs since the start of last season. Stanton was 70. Judge was 63. There's Gallo with 55. 3 of the top 5 in baseball featured in this game tonight. So Gallo telling some fishing stories down there too. Bouncer right side, a diving stop. What a play by Gregorius, and it's in time to get Guzman. Now take a bow, Didi Gregorius. That's a pretty nifty play.
Well, that was exciting, but not as exciting as the Joey Gallo home run as he takes Masahiro Tanaka way deep in the upper deck. Getting one butt back for the Rangers as they trail it 3-1 here in Arlington.
Well, 3-1 New York as we get right back to action here in the third inning, and the first pitch in there for a strike to Giancarlo Stanton. Stanton struck out on the first. 0 for 1, and as you said, CJ, he didn't look real comfortable in the at-bat.
Which is interesting, because that's not really Bartolo Colon's game. Like, he throws a lot of strikes, he gets weak contact, but he doesn't necessarily have the kind of stuff that will put a hitter in a funk. You don't see a lot of uncomfortable swings, right? He kind of prides himself on weak contact, which he did get some of that last inning with some bad luck. But look how far in that ball was to Stanton, who's a good hitter, who's been swinging a much better bat. Bartolo Colon just blew that baseball bat up with a good two-seam fastball in. This is fun as a pitcher. Talk about getting in a guy's kitchen. Look at this thing. Ugh. He's got no chance. Not only, I mean, did he break his bat and get in on him, but this ball not go very far at all. It's a good feeling. That's a big man right there.
Yes.
And he can do some damage. And that's Bartolo Colon, who's not as big as Stanton, but he won at least that miniature battle right there.
Oh, pushes him back just a little bit there, 2-2. You got a couple of big dudes, just different distribution, I guess. A 2-2 pitch, that's outside, full count. And what's Stanton? 6'6", about 250, and then you've got Bartolo, who's less than 6 feet tall and about 280.
Really? So who are you taking in a wrestling match? Bartolo could go low to the ground.
Well, there's a good advantage to that. High chopper. Odor has to hustle it, and he gets Stanton one away. I'll take Bart.
I mean, really, the end of the day, if it were to happen, the real winner would be America, because we'd get to watch it.
I think so. One away, and here is Didi Gregorius. How about Gregorius on this lineup of Judge and Stanton, basically mythically sized men who wield the bat with unprecedented power. And it's a different age of baseball, but here's Gregorius, nowhere near this size and strength, who's the cleanup hitter on this team.
Well, I think it's a smart move when you have all the righties, Judge, Stanton, Sanchez, splitting them up a little bit. Now, I thought before the season started that Greg Bird was going to be the guy that was going to most benefit from how this lineup was built, because just the way that it is tonight, Judge 2, Stanton 3, Gregorius 4, then Sanchez 5. Okay, the lefty in the middle, maybe not the guy with the big name, not known as well for his hitting prowess and power, would be the guy that would get the most pitches to hit. And I think that's what we saw from Didi Gregorius at the beginning of the year.
He sends a high chopper to second, and Odor takes care of it again, 2 away.
But Greg Bird got hurt, unfortunately, again. He'll be back maybe here pretty soon with the Yankees. He's a guy that showed a lot of power in the postseason. We saw it last year, especially in the ALCS. And there's Aaron Boone, manager of the Yankees. But as much as there's always the guys you focus on. You and I do it. We all do it watching the game. Well, pitchers do the same thing. Got to be careful with Judge. Got to be careful with Stanton. Got to be careful with Sanchez. All right, well, this guy, is this a breather here? Didi Gregorius, well, he showed, at least for the first part of the season, first month, that he was not.
Gary Sanchez is no picnic. This guy singled to start the second inning, and his young career off to a ridiculous start. 12 home runs this year, 33 RBIs. He also has 10 doubles. Bartolo runs it in on him. It's 2-0.
So I tell you what, you're going to see the shift. If this ball hit Gary Sanchez, I believe it did. You could tell by his reaction right away. I think we heard the sound. He wanted a call, and now the Yankees are going to say, hold on a second, we want to take a look at this. We've got great microphones. It did sound like it hit him.
It did.
And we saw the reaction from Sanchez right away. Let's take a peek here and see if he was lying to us. Maybe he was. You see anything there?
I did not.
I didn't either.
Not enough, certainly, that I would turn it over if.
Oh, yeah, no. Nice.
Let's listen.
Good call.
No.
No.
Beat it. Here we go. 2-0 pitch, and that's a strike.
I mean, there might have been no, I don't want to say no greater player. That's a little hyperbolic, but former Yankee that was really good at doing that. Derek Jeter was fantastic at pretending he got hurt and got hit before we had instant replay. He got himself a couple of extra hit by pitches when he actually was never hit.
Well, ground ball third base. Kiner Falefa has had a chance to show off a little bit tonight, and it completes a 1-2-3 inning for Bartolo Colon. So the big fella maybe easing in a little bit now. Rangers trail 3-1. If I told you that Juan Soto was born almost 2 years after Bartolo Colon made his first big league start.
That is amazing. But with Bartolo Colon, it's a lot of fun. We can dig in and find some young players that were not even around on the face of this earth while he was already pitching in the big leagues. 44 years old, 45 coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah, Thursday. Well, top of the order up here in the third inning, and Delino fouls it off. The count 0-2. 3-1 start to this one. Yankees got all 3 runs in the second. Big blow, a 2-run homer by Gleyber Torres. The Shields has slipped into a bit of a funk lately. And he swings and misses here. 1 away. Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, progressive fan of the game time. Always good to have members of our armed services in attendance, and particularly the Marines, and a very special group on tap tonight. What do you guys got?
We're DFW Devil Dogs. We're a group of 2,600 plus Marine and FMF corpsmen in the Metroplex area. We specialize in suicide prevention, intervention, and day-to-day life crisis. We intervene on the behalf of Marines and corpsmen when they're struggling a little bit. Our motto is no Marine should have to face the world by themselves. So what we do every day is just Marines supporting Marines. We're there for them when they're down. We're there for each other when we're up. We're here enjoying things together like a Rangers game. So it's all about camaraderie, keeping purpose in their life, and keeping them focused.
Well, we appreciate your service. Definitely deserving of the progressive fan of the game. Thanks, you guys.
I should say, that is very cool. Great to have him with us here tonight. 1 away, and Chu steps in. He walked in the first inning, and ahead in the count here, 2-0. Tanaka finds the corner there, 2-1.
It's a good fastball from Masahiro Tanaka. When he's on, when things are going well, pitch at 92 miles an hour. I mentioned not overwhelming velocity, but it gets good carry. You can spot it up pretty well. And then it really works when he throws that split finger fastball after the regular fastball.
Chu thinking about exploiting that empty left side of the infield. Instead, the count runs to 3-1. See Walker heading back to his position. Came sprinting in, but I really, to what end?
To try to prevent the double. Really, that's the one thing. You're not going to get anybody out if he gets it down.
Ground ball out into the shift, and Torres is there. There are 2 gone.
Third baseman Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
So here comes Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Reached on a fielder's choice. Back of the first inning. Tanaka, smart guy, by the way. I mean, I think it's worth mentioning. We can talk about his stats and his various abilities. This last offseason, he could have elected free agency.
Yeah, he had an opt-out in his contract.
He did, and he decided not to take it and just come back and pitch for the Yankees. And at the time, who knows what people said initially, what they thought, but at the end, he looks pretty smart. Little chopper over the mound, charging Torres, and makes a nice play. That's a 10-pitch inning for the right-hander, Tanaka. 3 in the books, and the Yankees lead 3-1.
Because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Well, great to have you with us tonight. Top of the 4th inning here in Arlington. Beautiful night in this beautiful ballpark, and Bartolo Colon looked real sharp in the 3rd inning. Starts Aaron Hicks with strike 1. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nikowski. Emily Jones with us down on the field. Great to be back home. A 2-team homestand. Fly ball out to left center field, and DeShields ranges over to make the play. Wow.
It's a tough one. We know Delino, of course, has got great range. You see Joey Gallo laughing there. I could have caught that.
Yeah, he could have. He stopped, though. That made me worried.
He did. He was pretty much camped, and Delino kind of caught this gliding by. This is definitely closer to Joey Gallo, but Delino, of course, has right of way as the center fielder. You see him yelling there, I got it, and Joey does the right thing and backs off. But coming off the left-handed bat, when Hicks is batting left-handed, that ball is curving actually toward Joey, and so more often than not, your left fielder would take that pop up. But as long as when you call a guy off, you do it with conviction and you make the play, nobody's going to say anything.
He's been doing that. Delino has been, it is a center fielder's job to be kind of the captain out there, and he has really taken the reins. Chopper's shortstop, and Profar throws out Tyler Austin, and there are 2 quick outs. All right, time now for a word from our friends at Southwest Kia.
$250 down, $250 a month or less on select new Kias in stock, only at southwestkia.com.
2 away for Neil Walker. 3-1 New York. Bartolo's been getting some quick verdicts. 10 plate appearances that have been 3 or fewer pitches to get to our result, and he runs one in on Walker.
Well, you always have that situation when you face a guy like Bartolo Colon. We mentioned the unbelievable walk rate, so you have a decision to make, right? Do you try to work him? Do you try to get the pitch count up? You know he's going to throw you strikes. You don't worry about him striking you out as much. You know, if you're facing a really good strikeout pitcher who throws a lot of strikes, say Max Scherzer, it's different. You got to decide, well, if I take pitches, man, he knows how to finish me off and put me away with the strikeout. That's not necessarily Bartolo's game, and so you have a decision to make of whether or not you try to get him early, try to get one of those fastballs over the plate.
Well, this one's sent to right field and into the upper deck. Walker on a 2-0 count got what he was looking for, and that's his first home run of the year. 4-1 New York.
That's patience from Neil Walker, as we mentioned, not going after anything early out of the zone against Bartolo, and he got a little bit big on a 2-0 count. Now they're trying to go two-seam fastball away. That ball finished middle in, and in the sweet spot for a left-handed hitter, as you see Neil Walker get the head out front. Drive that ball well out to right field.
Well, he's having a game so far. Now Gleyber Torres takes the strike. Walker drove in the run to get things started in the second inning. Right in front of Torres' home run. Now hits this one. One strike pitch, and that one off the handle of the bat. 0-2 on Gleyber Torres. 416 feet, that last home run. We haven't seen a cheap one yet. Stays 0-2.
We've talked about this a lot with the Rangers, the bottom of the order, and some of the lack of production that you see, and this is where the Yankees can be dangerous. Tyler Austin hasn't gotten a hit yet. He's batting 7th for this club, but he's having a really nice year. And then now between Neil Walker and Torres, already they're 3 for 3 with 2 home runs and a double.
Torres hit by the pitch. He'll head to first base. Colon plugs him with 2 out. Instead deal with Brett Gardner.
There's a good look at the two-seam fastball that just continued to run. Bartolo's got excellent movement on that pitch, and especially tonight, it's been moving really well. And that one just continued to take off. They tried to get in for a strike, and that one just kept going and going and caught Torres in the leg. Not even a look. It's a lot of respect for Bartolo Colon. You wonder sometimes you hit a home run, you get hit. A lot of times at least you'll look out at the pitcher, but not a single look there from Gleyber Torres. Lots of respect for the veteran Colon.
Bouncer first base. Gardner goes quickly right after the hit by pitch, and the inning is done. But another run added by the Yankees when we come back. Nomar Mazara will lead things off, then Jurickson Profar and Joey Gallo in the 3-run game. 3204 Townies Boulevard in Mesquite on May 24th. It's an autograph session with Nomar Mazara. Now, while you're there, you can sign up to be a Whataburger Whata fan and win tickets to an upcoming Rangers game, as well as Whataburger for a year. Just go to TexasRangers.com/appearances for more information. All right, well, here's the guy. Nomar will be there on Thursday. And he's there right now at the plate. Takes ball one from Tanaka. Mazara, Profar, and Gallo. Nomar walked in the first inning. Chops this one right side, but an easy hop for Torres, and there's one away. Tanaka has 8 ground ball outs so far now. None in the air.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? For a guy who comes in with a 46% ground ball rate, right around league average.
He's getting it done with the ground balls tonight. In fact, there are 16 ground balls in this game. 3 fly ball outs, all by Yankees, and 3 strikeouts. The 2 sides. We play here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Pitch to Profar, and that is ball 1. So Profar grounded out in the first. Jurickson, one of the few steady hands at the plate on that last road trip, and it was kind of an all or nothing trip at times offensively. 2-0. You see it, the 9 games, he had a .250 average. 5 doubles, though. So fairly consistently driving the ball. And those numbers, you know, no one's going to put that up on the marquee and declare it the greatest road trip of all time. But let's just say, contextually, he looked really good.
Sure, stuck out. There were some struggles on that road trip. I think what's interesting for Jurickson Profar is how this season has gone for him. Of course, we knew coming into the season, out of options. Important year for him as he draws that walk, and I think for the Rangers front office, giving them some things to think about, not just this year, but the future of Jurickson Profar is really important.
15th walk he has drawn this season. So he is on now for Joey Gallo, who blasted a home run in the 2nd inning.
It's 3 walks for Masahiro Tanaka, who came in with a very impressive walk rate himself. 1.8 walks per 9. League average over 3.
Jumps ahead of Gallo, 0-1.
That's the swing in a fastball count that Masahiro Tanaka thought he was going to get on Joey Gallo when he hit the home run. 0-0. Joey might be sitting fastball after he hit that split finger out. Masahiro Tanaka not afraid to go below the zone. That is his game, is to get hitters to chase that split, that slider out of the strike zone.
That one up and away. I mean, completely missed his target unless they're trying to deke the world, because Sanchez was set up low and in. 1 ball, 1 strike on Gallo. For Gallo, it was his 14th home run in the 2nd inning. And it was another in what has become a pile of solo home runs this year for the Rangers. 1-2. Home runs have been few and far between recently. Yesterday, the Rangers were shut out for the first time this year on just 2 hits. They had just 1 home run in the previous 5 games prior to tonight. And that home run was the grand slam by Chu in Chicago. 41 solo homers for the Rangers. 12 home runs with at least a man on base. That's a pretty huge difference.
Well, it certainly is, and kind of tells a little bit of the story of the Rangers this year and the ability to get on base, how important it is. They have the sluggers that can certainly hit the ball out of the ballpark, but trying to turn more of those solos into multi-run home runs.
Tanaka's 1-2. And fouled away.
Let's take a look at our Southwest Airlines player breakdown, and it's the home run for Joey Gallo back in the second inning on a 2-0 count. The split finger fastball, 103 miles an hour, a projected distance of 422 feet, and one happy fan.
Well, it's good to get it early in the game, too. A little life against Tanaka, who seems to be opening some doors of opportunity here. 2-2 the count to Gallo. And not at his sharpest, going back to what you were pointing out with his walk rate this year has been pretty good, but he's struggled with the free passes so far, with 3 of them issued. And we talked earlier about how he is at times susceptible to the long ball. So a little combination of the two go a long way to the Rangers staying in this game.
A lot of shakes there between Masahiro Tanaka and Gary Sanchez. Having a hard time getting on the same page.
Pitch to Gallo. And it's in the dirt, and Profar took off for second base. That's a steal. Sanchez had a hard time finding it. Never did offer a throw.
It's just a really good read in understanding the count and when you want to go. Right, we just saw Masahiro Tanaka shake like 4 times, and you're thinking almost definitely this is going to be an off-speed pitch. Now, Jurickson does a good job of peeking in. I also know that Gary Sanchez, the knock on him sometimes, he can get a little bit lazy behind the plate. He did a good job of blocking that ball. He's not going to have any chance of throwing Jurickson Profar out anyway, but that's a good job by Jurickson, reading the count, understanding the trend of a pitcher like Masahiro Tanaka.
Gallo stays alive, 3-2.
Just kind of to back up that point a little bit, what you're talking about. For Masahiro Tanaka this year, he has thrown 68% strikes. That's well above league average. League average right around 62, 63. But tonight, only 53% strikes. 15% difference in his strike rate right now. So he has had a hard time staying in the strike zone and enticing the Rangers to chase pitches outside of the strike zone.
That's 2 strikeouts so far. Payoff to Gallo inside, and another walk, the 4th of the night. So the inning building still. Hey, Sunday, the final game of this homestand, Rangers and Royals. First 15,000 fans get a Rangers cap, courtesy of Carter Blood Care. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. And didn't wear that cap to the ball game. Oh, good day at the yard right there for that guy. All right, Profar at second, Gallo at first. Odor rolled out, bunted down to first for an out. Takes in the dirt.
The Rangers now becomes a matter of cashing in. We've seen some really good patience to be able to draw 4 walks for Masahiro Tanaka. That's a big deal. Those are quality at bats, and making that happen, making him throw strikes, get in the strike zone. But just 1 run across the board so far, and so now it's a matter of who can deliver that big hit after a couple of good quality at bats where Rangers hitters are showing really good discipline.
Odor activated a little better than a week ago off the disabled list, but just 4 hits since coming back. 1-1 the count. Four for 31 with 13 strikeouts. I guess you can make it 4 for 32 with the out earlier tonight. It's 9 games. But a spot here to make people forget a lot of what has not gone right. If you could drive in a few right here. And this is a swing and a well-hit ball. Deep right field and gone! A 3-run shot that ties the game. And Rougned Odor has hit his first home run of the year at long last. That's a big one.
Well, that's what cashing it in looks like for Rougned Odor in a big spot, and he took kind of an ugly swing on the previous pitch on the 93-mile-an-hour fastball, so Masahiro Tanaka went back to the fastball, but this time Rougned Odor was ready, and what a swing in a big spot after a couple of great at-bats by Jurickson Profar, Joey Gallo to draw the walks. See the reaction, the big smiles there from Rougned Odor. Gets that first one, and you're pretty happy about it as he ties this game up.
429 feet. And Chirinos trying to match him with that swing. Ooh-wee. Take a breath. That was a long time coming right there for Odor. And no doubt the weight of the world off his shoulders. He's been waiting for that first home run, and not only did he get it, it was worth 3 and ties the game. His first home run since September 20th last year against the Angels in LA. It's really fired up Bartolo. 1-2 the count to Chirinos. Not leaving it up. Love Bart. Same expression, same demeanor at all times. That's cool.
Well, he's probably happy to get the runs. Run support has been a little bit of an issue for Bartolo Colon. Just 3.4 runs has been the average for him this year.
Well, this one gets away briefly from Sanchez. Chirinos, though, thrown out of the strikeout, 2 away.
Well, it's actually a splitter, and it showed up as a fastball, but that's why, because it didn't move very much. And usually for Masahiro Tanaka, that pitch will be below the zone, but it didn't have the movement on it at 89 miles an hour. And Odor hit it right back out at 105 miles per hour. Jeff Bannister certainly thrilled for his second baseman in that spot.
Guzman, and he swings and misses. A little more on Rugi. Let's check in again with Emily.
He had a long talk with Rougned Odor in Chicago, and he talked about admitting being frustrated because he wasn't producing at the plate, but really thinking he was close. He said he feels like his mechanics are good, everything was in line, his timing was just a little bit off. He said he really did feel like he was seeing the ball well, but he wasn't able to, I guess, necessarily act on what his eyes were seeing. And so he felt like he was close in Chicago, and obviously connected on that one here tonight. Hopefully a sign of things to come.
Yeah, certainly we all hope so. For Rougned Odor, we kind of joke around about that phrase, trusting the process, but you have to. And there may be times where you feel like you have a game plan, you're not getting the results, but you believe in it, you've had success before. And the worst thing you can do is start to veer off that game plan, start to doubt yourself a little bit. Maybe you change what you're looking for. It could be mechanical, it could be mental. Sticking to the game plan certainly paid off there for Rougned Odor.
2-strike pitch to Guzman. Way in, that got a piece of him, and so Guzman heads to first. Another free base runner, and it turns the lineup over.
Take a look here at this slider. A little bit of late movement. Catches that right knee of Ronald Guzman.
All right, Tanaka continuing to labor. Over 25 pitches in the inning now. Aaron Boone, Larry Rothschild, they're in that dugout talking things over. DeShields 2 for his last 30. And he takes in. So it has been a scuffle for Delino. The average down to 232. But he just saw his teammate Rougned Odor break through with a big swing this inning. Now looking for Delino to hit a lot of homers. But he has done a good job, at least prior to this rough stretch, of driving the baseball around the yards. And boy, look at this. Here comes Larry Rothschild right now in the middle of the at-bat, 2-0.
Yeah, probably wanted to give Masahiro Tanaka a breather, because after that first ground out of Nomar Mazara, he has not looked very comfortable. He did get the strikeout of Chirinos, but I think it's more a matter of the strikes right now. and missing up. Masahiro Tanaka does not miss up very often. I keep mentioning it, but below the zone is where he makes his living. So Larry Rothschild a little bit concerned. Aaron Boone as well. Gotta imagine the Yankees probably will be getting somebody up here pretty soon in that pen if this inning continues.
Well, he's thrown 28 pitches in the inning. And his next offering will be his 70th of the night. So laboring a little bit in some decent heat. So the Shields in a favorable count here, 2-0. Bouncer right back to Tanaka. Well, if it were only that easy. Takes care of the Shields. The inning is done. But the Rangers have tied it up. Rougned Odor in a much needed moment. 3-run blast to right field. We're square at 4. Regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, which allows you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Go to MLB.tv for details. Okay, so here we go in the 5th. Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, and Didi Gregorius. Cologne's 1-0. And a strike. He's gotten Judge to bounce out twice. Once to short, once to third. This ball though hammered out to center field. The Shields going back, and that one is gone. Out on Greens Hill. Judge has untied the game. His 12th home run of the year makes it 5-4.
You certainly have to be careful with Aaron Judge. The pitch prior to this was a really good one on the outside corner, but this one, the backdoor two-seam fastball, if you leave it out over the plate, you just give a guy like Aaron Judge an opportunity to get those arms extended. You see him catching it out front, and he knew it right away. He hit that ball hard to dead center field. Just not a lot of margin for error when you got these good fastball hitters in the middle lineup. We know Bartolo does not overpower you with the fastball. Location is so important.
This one into left field, and that's a base hit for Stanton. A quick start to the 5th inning for New York. Now the home run by Judge, 436 feet. Man, this is amazing. All these home runs.
Yeah. Anything been under 4 yet?
No, they've all been well over 400 feet. 436 the longest tonight, and that one left the bat at 114 miles per hour. So some big power on display tonight. Didi Gregorius now. And don't fool yourself, he's got some juice in that bat as well. Gregorius with 10 home runs this year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. You know, the Yankees gave him a couple of days off because he was struggling a little bit. He hit the ball hard in his first at bat. I mentioned how good he has been on balls in, and so for Bartolo, one of his strengths is that two-seam fastball into lefties. But he's got to be very careful trying to do that to Didi Gregorius, even though he has been struggling. It's a spot where that thing leaks over the plate a little bit too much. He can certainly get a hold of it.
Now, updating the Gregorius slide, it's 1 for his last 47 now. He takes high. 1-1. Gregorius had the unenviable task of trying to take over shortstop for the Yankees when Derek Jeter retired. So he took over in 2015, hit 9 home runs that year, and overcame kind of a slow start. They stayed with him. 1-2 the count. Then the next year he hit 20 home runs. Last year hit 25 home runs. And last year was the year where, as the home runs piled up and that second half push continued for him, he took over in that cleanup spot down the stretch into the postseason last year. Those 25 home runs, a Yankees franchise record for homers by a shortstop. But he swings and misses here. A strikeout for the first out of the 5th inning.
That's a nice job by Bartolo Colon, and really working Didi Gregorius, getting him to expand the zone. He had gone way outside. He tried to actually go outside again, back to back. Here's a good look at the changeup. This one finished below the zone. You see how Robinson Trinos actually had to come back to get that ball. They were trying to double up on those changeups way away. That's a good job by Bartolo.
Well, a big out because now Gary Sanchez, 1 for 2, steps in. And he takes took a very good pitch. I'm gonna say he takes ball 1. He took a strike for a ball right there is what he did. Got away with 1. He's hitting the 3 double plays this year, and that's what Colon would love to see. Bouncer and a chance to turn 2. Bartolo at 73 pitches. Keeping an eye on Stanton, who, though he is a big guy and thought of mostly for his power, he can run. He's a good athlete. 2 stolen bases this year. Sanchez rips that foul. Wow. Didn't miss it by much.
Gary Sanchez may be asking Jerry Davis if he thought maybe that was fair, where you can see it clearly that that ball was foul. Nice call by Mark Carlson.
Good call by him. Nice play by our bold girl down the line. Great fundamentals. Got down to a knee. Yeah, that's how you do it. Ooh, strike. 1-2.
Tell you what, yeah, Gary Sanchez didn't like that call, but we both believe that first pitch was a strike. That one did look like it was a little bit off the plate, but I think that has been the consistency of tonight's strike zone. A little bit wide, off the plate has been called.
You should know it as well as anybody back there behind the plate. 25-year-old catcher. Colon's 1-2. Sanchez, still a youngster, but such a promising start to his career. As a rookie in 2016, he came up, he had, what, 20 home runs in 51 games? Sort of
53 games. He had
53?
the 2 games he played, 2 games in 2015. But you're right, 2016, 20 home runs in 53 games, just 201 at-bats for those 20 home runs. And he hit 299 to go with it.
He was hurt early last year, missed about a month. And meanwhile, you know, Aaron Judge was stealing the highlights and just went on his incredible 2017 season. But Sanchez got back healthy, ended up winning a Silver Slugger, made the All-Star team. He's hit 20 or more home runs in his first 2 big league seasons.
You wonder if the Yankees will want to convert him to a full-time DH. Pass balls have been an issue for him. He's got a strong arm. But last year he tied Yasmani Grandal for the league lead in pass balls. He's got the lead again this year. Just has a tendency to get a little bit lazy back there. He's got a great arm, though. That's the thing. Is you watch him throw. It's good velocity on those throws, but at the same time you start to wonder, you know, could he be a consistent 40 home run threat if he wasn't necessarily behind the play, right? You mentioned missing some time last year, and he still hit 33 home runs.
Yeah.
But at 25, it seems a little bit young to want to commit a guy to full-time DH.
Cologne's 1-2. 2-2.
I think that's a decision that happens maybe sooner than later for the Yankees. They got to figure it out because you got a guy like Sonny Gray who really struggled with Gary Sanchez. Now he's comfortable throwing to Romine, and that's working out. And it seems like now Sonny Gray's got himself a personal catcher in Romine, and you just wonder how many other Yankee pitchers wouldn't mind also throwing to Romine.
Well, I tell you what, as a pitcher, I'm not sure I would mind too much having his offensive support, though. 2-2 and a pop-up. Foul ground first base side. Guzman wants it. 2 gone. But I get it. I mean, he certainly has struggled defensively.
It's a good job here by Ronald Guzman to take control of this situation. And Robinson Chirinos probably would have been there in plenty of time, but it's just a much easier play for the first baseman. Talked about his defense, and only made a big error tonight, but he's done a really nice job defensively, and that error didn't lead to a run when it was all said and done. Just a couple of extra pitches for Bartolo in that second inning.
2 away now for Aaron Hicks. Cologne gave up the 2-run homer to Gleyber Torres in the second. Solo shots to Neil Walker and Aaron Judge in the 4th and 5th innings, respectively. And he trails by a run, but only at 81 pitches. And he's pitching for a little piece of history tonight. See the balls and strikes ratio right about right. He's 1 win shy of the all-time record for pitchers born in the Dominican Republic. 1 more win, should he get it tonight, would tie him with Juan Marichal, the Dominican dandy. 243 victories all time in the big leagues. And it is something, you know, a lot of players don't like to talk about those types of things. It's on his mind, he knows, and it's something he really would love to accomplish.
No doubt. I mean, can you imagine the pride when you think about the great history and how many great players have come out of the Dominican Republic, how many really good pitchers we have seen, Hall of Famers, and Bartolo Colon could be standing at the top, the most victories. And as much as we get away from pitchers' wins, I think a little bit more and more as this new advanced metric generation looks at different ways of valuing players. Those wins still matter a lot to pitchers.
1-1 to Hicks. Off the plate. So there you have it. Marichal, 243. Colon, 1 behind him. Then there's Pedro. Irvin Santana. Some studs. Strike 2. Hicks was running for the hills.
He was. You cannot give up on the Bartolo Colon fastball. I mentioned the movement, and it just seems, especially tonight, where he's getting even more. And Aaron Hicks is thinking about, how do I get out of town? And instead that ball comes back. And that was a good call. I thought it caught the inside corner. You got to watch that ball all the way through. You know he's got really good movement. You can never give up on it as a hitter.
Stanton over at first base. 2 out, the 2-2 pitch. Ooh, full count. Hicks had a big year last year. Everyday center fielder these days. Struggled coming up with the Minnesota Twins. 3-2, runner goes, bouncer, foul, and we'll do it again.
And the one thing about throwing that pitch for Bartolo Colon, that front door 2-seam fastball, it's not an easy thing to do because it's opposite arm side, right? He's a right-handed pitcher trying to go inside to a left-handed hitter, so it's the opposite side of the plate. Some people say glove side, opposite arm side, either way. But it requires real consistency in your delivery to be able to do that, because just the smallest mistake, you open up a little bit too early, you drift a little bit trying to get there, and all of a sudden it's a completely different and much more hittable pitch.
And the runner goes. 3-2 pitch. He did not go, and that is a walk. Only the 5th walk issued by Colon this year. And he can hardly believe it. Colon, as you can see, very frustrated. Or not.
And it was close, right? I mean, that's the thing too, is Aaron Hicks almost swung at this pitch. Let's see if he offered at it. Really close, but I think that's a good call. But how crazy is that? 5 walks this year. Masahiro Tanaka, who has excellent command, has 4 tonight. You see Doug Brocail on the phone with the Ranger bullpen.
So 2 men aboard now for Tyler Austin, and Colon really does need to get this guy, because the last 2 hitters in the order have seen him pretty well. First pitch in there for a strike. Austin has grounded out 2 times. There's Neil Walker. He's had probably the best 2 swings. One-run game. "44 years old." Might be underselling it a tad. He'll be 45 here in a couple of days. 1-strike pitch. Just misses. Long, great career, and you know, it's one thing to spend a lot of years in the big leagues, have the success that Colon has had. He has touched a lot of baseball lives. He has won games for 11 different major league franchises. And he seems to know everyone on every team. 2-1. Pitch count climbing on him just a tad, though. Now at 90 pitches, and again with Walker and Torres waiting in the wings, it really may force Jeff Bannister to a tough decision here. 2-2.
Well, Bartolo has not thrown more than 100 pitches this year. You see he is at 91. He did get to 98 a couple of times. Certainly something to keep an eye on as far as that pitch count as it gets up there a little bit. But he's also gone at least 5 innings in each of his starts.
2-2. A swing and a miss. Strike 3, and the inning is over. So he finishes it off with a strikeout.
Bartolo Colon does it again in a big spot to put the fire out. Watch a 2-seam fastball, the movement down, and Tyler Austin swings right over the top of it.
Bart working on his little gum sandwich that he likes to put together between innings. That may be a real good sign right there that he's prepared to come out for the 6th inning.
Is he kneading the bread there? What's that move?
He makes 2 discs. And then he chews up a little bit. He takes the old piece rather, and he puts it between those discs. There you go. He rolls it up, and then he wads it up, and he puts it in his glove, and he pops it in right before it goes out next inning. There we go.
In the glove.
Yep, in the glove. There we go. Bart's little gum sandwich.
It's very interesting.
It's just awesome.
Now, does that taste like pine tar or anything afterwards, or glove sweat?
Hopefully, yeah. Chu flares one over the left side of the infield. A base hit to start the 5th inning.
Well, with this kind of shift, you certainly don't have to hit it hard, and you're going to see Masahiro Tanaka go in on Chu, and he executed his pitch well. Chu gets just enough of it to get it into the outfield over the head of Neil Walker for a leadoff base hit.
Chu is on, the potential tying run. Look, Tanaka headed towards 75 pitches. A long talking to last inning, and Kiner Falefa bunts one back to the mound. They'll go to second. Good Chu, but no chance at that double play. So 1-6-4-7. There you see Green getting ready in the bullpen, so should they need him. We're throwing righty, Chad Green. Already at 19 appearances on the season. He'll be ready to go.
It's a good play by Masahiro Tanaka, being aggressive. A lot of guys, sometimes if something looks borderline close, they just take the out at first. But in a 1-run game, he knows how important that runner getting into scoring position is, and he was aggressive and made a good throw.
Kiner Falefa replaces Chu at first. Maybe a tad more speed there. Mazzara has walked and rolled out. Saw Isaiah aggressive on the bases in the 1st inning. In fact, stole a base, made it to 3rd when the throw went into center field. Sanchez will be very mindful of him over there, as will Tanaka. The Hawaiian hustle might try to work himself into scoring position. Zara watches a good one. Ten home runs for Nomar. Getting on base at a better than 330 clip. So he continues to do a good job in that regard. But a little like Delano DeShields, it's been a little harder for him lately. That was a tough road trip, 8 for 38. And a little comebacker. Tanaka goes to second for one. They might have time. They do. Double play. A 1-6-3 double play inning over, and we're through 5 tonight. Yankees lead by a run.
And Bartolo Colon back out on the mound for the Rangers. And in talking to Bartolo's teammates about just what it's like to play alongside him, guys usually light up and have a funny story to tell. Delano DeShields is like, there's nothing like seeing a 45-year-old guy out there shagging balls with a giant smile on his face. And it's funny when you walk into the clubhouse, and I try to talk minimal Spanish with the guys, considering mine isn't very good, but it's always, como está, bien, y tú. And for Bartolo, every day, tranquilo. Every day.
Tranquilo indeed.
Couldn't be more
I
accurate.
was going to say, no better way to describe Bartolo Colon than tranquilo. But you know what you were saying earlier, like all the teammates, right, that he's played with, all the guys, seems like he knows everybody. But it's not that he just even plays and has played with so many different guys, but that they look forward to seeing him. I think Martin Perez is a really good example of that. It seemed like there was an instant relationship there, and a lot of looking up to Bartolo and asking questions, and a guy that can hold court. Everybody wants to hear him talk, interested in the information. It's not just that he's been a teammate of many, but a really likable and good teammate of many.
And the fans in all these stops have just been drawn to him. He's a character, and he's got a big couple hitters to deal with right here. The 8 and 9 batters to start the 6th inning. But Neil Walker, a double and a home run, and he strikes out looking. Boy, is that a big one right there for Bartolo.
Strikeout number 4 for Bartolo Colon, and he does it against Neil Walker with another good two-seam fastball right on the corner. Good stick by Robinson Chirinos.
One away. Now Colon against Gleyber Torres, who homered in the 2nd inning. This guy just a pup. Torres, how about this? Bartolo Colon made his big league debut April 4th of '97. Torres was 3 months old. Technically speaking, he was 94 days old. He was born on Christmas Eve, 3 months prior to Bartolo taking the mound for the Indians. And now here they are facing one another in the big leagues. Fly ball center field, well struck again. Now DeShields way back there, and he can't get to it. And Torres is homered for a 2nd time tonight. 6th homer of the year gives New York the 2-run lead. And here comes Banning. Well, a little bit of a risk throwing him out there against these last 2 hitters. Good strikeout of Walker, but Torres got him again. Still a good effort from Bartolo Colon. He leaves down by 2. Rangers into the bullpen first tonight. East. Really interesting start to the year. Meanwhile, here a 2-run game. Matt Bush just recalled today, and he takes over here in the 6th inning.
And you see the pitch arsenal for Matt Bush, a really good fastball. He uses it 63% of the time. Curveball and cutter in there as well. And that curveball is something for Matt Bush, as we see him throw that 95-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle for strike one. Is something that he can kind of make a little bit bigger, make a little bit smaller. The cutter has been fun to watch as well. That little 4-seam fastball, and he'll cut it at a pretty high velocity. You saw the average at 92 this year.
Goes 1-1 on Gardner. Gardner, the leadoff man. Double, reached on an error and is grounded out. So Bartolo done after 5 1/3, allowed 6 runs on 8 hits. 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. And Bush misses a little low. It's 2-1.
Matt Bush pitched in 8 games at AAA this year through 9 innings, 14 strikeouts for him, just 2 runs allowed.
The second stint was on the roster opening day. His last appearance April 24th, and that one is high. He walks Gardner in this 6th inning. Not a good way to start his first outing back. Hey, Friday is T-Mobile Friday Fireworks, part of Star Wars weekend. Rangers Royals, 7 o'clock game. After the game, a fireworks show set to Star Wars music. It's $16 upper reserve seats, available thanks to Fox Sports Southwest and T-Mobile. Go to TexasRangers.com. Man on now in front of Aaron Judge.
So I feel like the pressure's on us a little bit. Did you see what the Angels did on their Star Wars night?
Goodness, I did.
Mark Gubazov, Victor Rojas, stormtrooper outfits. A little much for me, but at the same time, I also feel challenged. You know what I mean?
Yeah, see, the problem is I don't have a storm.
No, but you have your C-3PO one. You could use that one.
Yeah, I usually save that for the fall.
Yep. Break it out early, dust it off, shine it up.
Yeah, maybe I'll pop that 1-1 to Aaron Judge. I mean, we could just grab like a potato sack and put it over us and be Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's right.
Just about out of character some Star Wars that I could name.
Princess Leia, of course. Emily would crush that.
Right. Yoda, you'd make a good Yoda.
Thank you.
This one lined over third. Base hit for Judge, his 2nd hit of the game. Gardner still moves well. He's over to third. And Judge into second base for the double. Walk and a double. Yankees continuing to build in the 6th inning.
Take a look at this pitch from Matt Bush, and there's the 4-seam fastball, and Aaron Judge all over it. Hit this ball hard down the left field line. Joey Gallo did a nice job, though, of making this a close play. Watch him slide in here on the backhand, gets up, gets that ball in right away. Watch him here. That's a nice job by Joey Gallo. I think from Profar catches it on 1 hop. See Judge slide in just ahead of the tag.
So the infield is in now with 1 out. Everybody up on the edge with Gardner at third, Judge at second, and the dangerous Giancarlo Stanton at the plate, who is 1 for 3.
Wow.
Boy, didn't miss by much. 1-1. That'd make a good Han Solo to your Chewbacca.
Yep. Watch his 97. That is right at the knees. What a great night for Jerry Davis.
A couple of big misses anyway. The 1-1. There's a swing and a miss.
It's a turnaround.
Yeah, I mean, he went from being booed at home to that. 15 games, 6 home runs, and a 350 plus average. This one sent out to right field. Mazzara, a couple steps to his right, will make the catch. Gardner tags, he'll score, and Judge advances to third. 7-4 Yankees.
Take a look at this. Watch Robinson Trinos. Look where he wanted that ball. He wanted that up above the zone. You see where every pitch through this at bat had been at the knees of Stanton. And so for Trinos thinking, let's try to get a swing and miss above the zone. Matt Bush misses down. You see his reaction. He knew it, and it was hit pretty hard. Turns into a sac fly. But that's something for Matt Bush, I think, which is worth keeping an eye on. His ability to elevate that fastball. That is how you beat the high launch angle guys. Get that ball up in the zone. Try to generate some swings and misses. It also makes that breaking pitch right there that he threw below the zone even that much better.
It's been a struggle again tonight for Didi Gregorius, 0 for 3 so far. Bush would like to end this inning with Gregorius and his team back in the dugout. 2 runs across in the 6th inning. This game was tied at 4, but Aaron Judge homered in the 5th. Gleyber Torres, his 2nd home run of the night this inning. And then the sac fly. This ball lifted out to left field, and that one will fall in. Judge scores. Gregorius stops at second with the RBI double. 8-4 New York. Mixed reaction from the crowd here tonight. A lot of Yankees fans here, a lot of Rangers fans.
Good look at the fastball from Matt Bush. He hit his spot too. You see Robinson Trinos really did not have to move the glove at all, and that's Didi Gregorius just taking it the other way. And I mentioned earlier that he had been having some issues on pitches away, and maybe with the high velocity of Matt Bush just trying to be short to the ball, and he was. And picks himself up a 2-out RBI double.
Doug Brocail out there to try and settle things down a little bit because there's just so much danger in this lineup. You don't get Didi Gregorius, your reward is you have to contend with Gary Sanchez. Yeah, this Yankees lineup is unrelenting. That's why they are off to a 30-13 start, best record in baseball. And I don't want to say it cracks me up, but I mean, it really is quite amazing that at one point they were 7.5 games out of first place. I mean, it's only May. It's May something or the 21st. That you could be 7.5 out at this point of the season is one thing. But then that you could have overcome that and taken over the division lead, somewhat unprecedented. There's a strike, 1-1 to Gary Sanchez. Singleton scored in the 2nd inning. He has grounded out, popped out since. Bad swing and a miss. 1-2. Bush had him fooled.
We showed you that arsenal for Matt Bush and how often he uses the fastball. And so for Gary Sanchez to see that breaking ball, I think that swing told you everything you needed to know. He was sitting dead red expecting a fastball and didn't get it.
Off the plate. Bartolo Colon done, cannot win. So it will be another couple of days before he'll have a shot at Juan Marichal again. In there tonight. Hurt by a couple of home runs. The bottom of the order really had his number. Two. There's strike 3 called. So Sanchez down looking, the inning is done, but the Yankees plate 3. We'll go to the 7th inning. It's 8-4. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer. A little good news, bad news for you there, CJ. Bad news is you see the score, 8-4. The good news is, even though I said we're going to the 7th, we're just going to the bottom of the 6th. There's lots of time left. A little locked up there. Chad Green making his 20th appearance out of the bullpen now for the Yankees.
You see the right-hander, the numbers that he has. How about 33 strikeouts to 5 walks? This guy has got some good stuff. Done an excellent job going back to last year for the New York Yankees. It's a deep bullpen, and this guy may be, I don't want to say he's undervalued because the Yankees certainly do value him. But when you think about the big names that come at the end of the game, but that bridge to those guys is Chad Green, and you see the big fastball there, 97 miles an hour, and you see what the Yankees have done on the road. How about a 0.64 ERA? Talk about shutting it down over the last 30 days. The Yankees certainly have done that.
This one line, and it's a fair ball down that left field line. Profar heading to second base. Here comes a throw. It's offline. So Profar with a double, and that's how we start the bottom of the 6th.
Well, number 13 for Jurickson, Profar trying to go down and away, and Chad Green elevates that fastball, and Profar does a nice job of staying inside that ball, keeping it fair. Good leadoff double. Brett Gardner made this close. Look at that. He even set his feet, or I should say he tried to make it close. So that ball just barely stays fair. I feel like we see more and more of that. Infielders and outfielders trying to get rid of the ball so quickly, especially in the outfield. And I'm not saying he should have set his feet. He had no chance of getting Jurickson Profar there, but he thought maybe he would have a chance if he could try to rush that throw. We saw how far offline it was.
Gallo up there. The 0-1 pitch, a big swing and a miss. That throw by Sanchez. It's a good peg. Nobody was home really, and the odds were pretty slim, but to get to show off that arm.
We'll talk about Joey Gallo as a guy that we'd like to see off the mound. We'll put Gary Sanchez up there as well. Position players with some big time arms.
Oh, 2. It's inside. Another one is Aaron Hicks.
Didn't he have some outfield throws that had registered triple digits?
Yeah, 105 miles per hour a couple of years ago.
I'm not going to say I don't believe it. I'm a little skeptical.
Oh, interesting.
105?
Well, why not?
I guess.
Outside, 2-2.
Now, he has a great arm. I don't want to take anything away from him. But 105 is a big number.
With him, has he been watching? I don't know, Aaron. That's what I'm saying. I mean, he's crazy. Logan Cabeza, not even watching. Yeah, I've seen it. Well, I mean, the difference, of course, for those guys, they get their body behind it. They're running. It's like a little crow hop. Down low. Full count now on Gallo. Ruge had the 3-run homer in the 4th inning. That tied the game. The Rangers are going to need some more big swings like that. And again, with men on base, they're going to get back in this one, trailing 8-4. Gallo got underneath it. Oh, he launched that a mile in the air. And Hicks is there. He'll unleash. Throw coming to third base. Not in time. Profar advances on the fly ball out.
Hey, let's get to our forward game summary with Rougned Odor coming in. I want you to watch these 2 pitches here. Masahiro Tanaka threw this fastball, and you see kind of that awkward swing on a 1-0 count. Well, he came back with a splitter that didn't do very much. and almost acted like your average fastball at 89 down the middle. And Rugi got it, and he knew it, and it was a big home run at the time. It tied the game 4-4. That is our 4-game summary. One of 6 home runs that we've seen already tonight.
And nary a one under, I don't know, 410. I'm sure we've had one under 410 feet. Here is Odor. And takes a strike from Green. A much needed home run for Rugi. The injury that caused him to miss some time. And then the hits, especially the big home runs, were long coming.
I'll tell you something, that was pretty impressive from Gary Sanchez. We've talked about his defense and some of the struggles that he has had, and it's easy to get lazy back there. This was 98 miles an hour and did not go where Chad Green intended to throw. That's a backhand. The fact that he even got his glove on it, but does a nice job of hopping back up. And a smart decision by Jerks and Profar. Down by 4, not the time to take any unnecessary risks on the base paths.
Odor shoots this one down the left field line, but that one slices away foul. Another good swing. We've seen him attempt a couple of bunts the last few games. Saw him launch that home run in the 4th inning. Of course, when Rugi gets going, usually his hits, his home runs, they come in bunches. He gets hot. He strikes out here. 2 away. Bring up Robinson Chirinos. Well, Yankee starter Masahiro Tanaka had 3 strikeouts today. 2 of them were Chirinos. Tanaka also walked 4. He gave up 4 runs on 3 hits in his 5 innings. Chad Green has taken over here in the 6th. A man at 3rd, 2 out. Chirinos takes high. So this is the first of 3 here. Tomorrow night, same time. An hour earlier on Wednesday night. Chirinos shoots this one out to right field. Back on it. Judge, and he has room to make the catch. Just missed. Inning over. Rangers leave a man at 3rd. And now we will go to the 7th. It's 8-4 New York. weekend, join the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation and remembering those who have lost their lives in service to our country. American flags are going to be displayed on the north lawn over Memorial Day weekend to honor our heroes. And any fans looking to make a donation to honor loved ones can do so with a commemorative flag. You can visit texasrangers.com/heroes. All proceeds will benefit the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation's non-profit military partners. What a scene. Such a beautiful ballpark on a gorgeous Monday night here. Temperatures in the low 80s. And we've seen, we advertised home runs, right? I mean, we knew there would be some power in this series. And we have seen some home runs in this thing. Aaron Judge didn't disappoint. Joey Gallo hasn't disappointed. Here's Aaron Hicks. He's in a hole 0-2.
Nice combination there from Matt Bush. The high fastball at 94 miles an hour comes back with the backdoor breaking pitch down and away. I wonder if we'll see any adjustments from him in regard to pitch usage. We'll see a few more of those breaking balls, how he wants to use them. Try to get hitters off his fastball a little bit. At times that could be somewhat of an issue. We saw him letting up some hard contact more than you would expect from Matt Bush.
1-2 the count. Our Southwest Airlines live look at the bullpen. There's Brandon Mann. So looks like he's next man up.
Let's see what she did there. Nice.
Keep you on your toes, Chewy. 1-2 fouled away. Hicks, Austin, Walker. Nearly 30,000 on hand here tonight. 29,553. Check swing. Did he go? No. Carlson down there at third base. Love Mark Carlson at Goodfellas. Tell me you got a little doppelganger going with Carlson. Ground ball right side, flagged by Guzman. He'll feed Bush. One away. Nice play.
Really nice play. And, of course, we saw the error earlier. Wasn't a big deal, but we've also seen Ronald Guzman play some really good defense. You got to get this on that second hop, and you know it's going to take a little bit of a higher hop. And nice job by Guzman on the slide. Watch here. Watch the second bounce. It's good hands right there as he snags it. Really good door right behind him, and then a good underhand toss to Matt Bush. All right, doppelganger. I don't know who it is. I can't see.
You don't have a little Ray Liotta down there at third base?
Oh, at third base. I'm sorry. I was looking at Jerry Davis. I'm like, how can you tell he's got a mask on?
There's Tyler Austin. There he is.
Yeah, I see it. Got to lose the glasses, though. A little bit of a stretch, but I'll give it to you.
Quick glance. A little Henry Hill look to him. 0-2 the count on Austin. Austin today's grounded out a couple of times, also struck out. See how long Jeff Bannister trying to push Matt Bush here. And lately, it seems like Banny has tried to get multiple innings out of a lot of guys. You see it with Tony Barnett. And obviously there's the long man and Jesse Chavez, but he's been willing to push a lot of pitchers more than one inning. And I think more and more we see teams rethinking how they use their pitchers, starters and bullpen. Austin strikes out swinging, 2 away.
Elevated fastball by Matt Bush. Really good execution, I think, of what the Rangers want to see from him a little bit more. Jeff Bannister was talking about that before the game. Watch this right here. You got the good fastball, and when it's up in the zone, it's so much harder to get to. It's got great life on it. And for a guy in Austin, he's had a rough night, couple of strikeouts tonight, but a guy who's been very good for the Yankees this year.
Well, Neil Walker has had a very good night, but now a much different look for him. He doubled his first time up, drove in a run. Homered his next time up. He did strike out looking the last time he faced Bartolo Colon. Well, let's face it, Busch a much different pitcher, and he runs that one inside. It's 2-0. Busch just back today. Kevin Jepson designated for assignment to make room for Busch's arrival. That was tough. Jepson did a nice job. Good guy. He had hit a couple of bumps here recently. 3-0 pitch. One in there for a strike. Full count now on Walker. Switch hitter. Long time in the National League. Came up with the Pirates. Spent about 6 years in Pittsburgh. Played with the Mets, the Brewers, and now the Yankees. Sends this one high in the air out to left field. Not going to carry. Gallo able to backpedal underneath it. Inning is done. It's a 1-2-3, top of the 7th inning. So they stand and stretch tonight. Rangers need to get it going offensively. Visit your local Buick dealer. And buy LG OLED TV with AI ThinQ. Okay, bottom of the 7th inning. And Guzman leading it off here for the Rangers. 9th place hitter. Rangers need some base runners. Green back out for some more work. And this ball hit well. Deep out to right field. Way up there and gone! What a blast by Guzman! Well, you got some of the biggest hitters in the game here tonight, and it's the rookie flexing his muscle in the 7th inning. 8-5 our score.
Take a bow, Dave Raymond. Coming out of commercial, he looks over at me, he goes, yeah, I think Guzman right here. What do you think? I'm like, I don't know. Jack Reed's pretty good. And look at you, Dave Raymond. Let's take a look at this pitch right down the middle. And Guzman gets every bit of it. A little bit of a lean back. He gets to admire it, and he should. a big home run against a really good right-handed relief pitcher. Watch it from the side here. Love the little lean back. Right, we were talking earlier about guys like Bryce Harper, Stanton, how they get that back foot up in the air. With Guzman, a little bit more traditional with the back foot down. And he crushes that ball.
You ready? What do you see these crooked numbers? 443 feet. Good night. We have seen a mile of home runs here tonight. 2-1 to the Shields.
You know, most of the time when people talk about like calling home runs, I have about as much interest as that as I do your fantasy team. But you nailed that one play. It was great.
No, thank you. Really. Well, sometimes you just guess right. 2-2. How much do you owe me?
0.
Oh,
yeah. 0.
So that pitch missed. 3-1. The count on to Shields. Nice to get him on base here. Full count. So Green going out for an extra inning. Delano had a little trouble tonight with Tanaka. A couple of ground outs and the strikeout. Three-two. All the way again. Really now, I wish I would have kept all the various measurements in these home runs. Because I am curious. I don't think we've had one less than 410 feet.
No, I don't think we have either.
And it seems like each one goes a little bit further. And that's an exaggeration, but that last one was the longest yet.
What was the total?
443 feet. 443.
Well, we showed you in our open 5 of the 8 longest home runs hit since StatCast started back in 2015 were by men that are in this game tonight. So we knew there would be some big power, but some other guys chipping in as well. There's a couple of the 5. You saw Judge, you saw Sanchez.
This ball hit out to center field, but Hicks right there. One away.
Now here's what I'm talking about, and these are the kind of games you get excited about. You know you're going to see some home runs. 2015 was the beginning of StatCast, and you see it there. Stanton with the longest of the group, that 504-foot home run that he hit in Colorado, but Judge right there, not far behind him. Sanchez and then Nomar Mazara and Joey Gallo making the list as well. Michael Taylor, how'd you get in there?
Yeah, really.
Don't want to take anything away from Michael Taylor, but just not a name you would think of when you think about big home runs, the longest we have seen since 2015. That guy, yes, I would expect to see Stanton in there multiple times. Nomar Mazara.
This ball hit high in the air out to center field. Hicks is back, and that's just enough room. 2 away. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Let's check in with Dana Larson. Wow, yeah, thanks, Dana.
Did she say 15 home runs in 29 minor league games? Did I hear that right? You weren't paying attention.
Is it too hard to get her back on? Why not? Was 13.
Oh, 13. Okay, so I did not hear her right. Still very impressive.
One strike pitch. Kiner Falefa lines it to short. Gregorius is there, and the inning is done. But a 443-foot home run by Ronald Guzman.
And it was a big one against a good pitcher in Chad Green. You see the balance in the swing, you see the extension, and you see the power from the big man.
want you to show your school spirit at a Texas Rangers game. Get discounted tickets for tomorrow's game against the Yankees. First 2,000 fans will get a free Rangers cap in Raider red and black. Go to texasrangers.com/TTU for details. Jesse Chavez coming on here in the 8th inning for the Rangers.
And here's the pitch arsenal for Jesse. Fastball, slider, changeup, curveball. He uses all those secondary offerings a pretty good amount. Still good velocity for Jesse, averaging 92 miles an hour. Done a nice job for the Rangers this year. I mentioned those multiple innings, and certainly Jesse has been the guy that has been called upon to take on the most multiple innings, and doesn't mean just 2, sometimes 3, 4 for him. He's gone long and he's done it well.
Gleyber Torres swings and misses. The count 0-2 on him. Torres has had a big night, his first multi-home run game in his young career. Gives him 6 home runs now for the season, and it's 1-2. And really, I mean, when you look, we were talking earlier about the turnaround this team had. 1.7½ games out of first place, now the best record in baseball. They were 10-9 when they called him up. Not bad. Nothing wrong with that. It's just one down to first, and it's a low line drive caught by Guzman, 1 away. So 10-9, but then since they called him up, they've gone 20-4.
I mean,
now, I don't want to say it's all him.
Yeah, and no, but you see, we've seen it already tonight. The bat hitting the ball hard, and this was after the 9-9 start for the season. You mentioned Torres coming up a game after this started, but a 21-4 record since April 21st. A lot of good things happening, but he's batting 9th in this lineup. I mean, that's the thing. And they call him up in late April, so that means 7 years of control. You got this season plus 6 more after. Kind of wonder if the Yankees would look to him as maybe a guy that they would try to lock up cheaply. I know that's something you don't really hear too often in Yankee land, but Torres seems to be a guy that's on his way. For Aaron Boone, listen, if you're going to get your first job in the big leagues, I mean, I don't know what your first car was like. I had a 1986 Dodge Omni, but Aaron Boone got himself a 2018 Ferrari to drive his first time through the big leagues.
Yes, he did.
I mean, not only did they go out and get Stanton, but it's also the guys, the minor league guys that they're bringing up in Duhar, Torres. It's a good lineup.
No, they're
good team.
Pretty well situated, not just for this year, but for quite a little while, it would appear.
That's just something you don't see very often. You see Brett Gardner draw the walk there. Is new managers coming in, first-time managers at the big league level. More often than not, you're getting a team that is probably not ready to compete or contend. Aaron Boone gets the Yankees. Alex Cora gets the Boston Red Sox. Mickey Callaway gets the Mets. Dave Martinez gets the Nationals. I mean, those are all teams that would expect to contend. Those are all teams with first-year managers. The Philadelphia Phillies not expected to contend necessarily, and Gabe Kapler, a first-year manager, has that team contending. It really is amazing to see the trend and the amount, I would assume, of pressure put on those guys right away, right out of the chute. They have all made some mistakes, and there have been well-documented mistakes. But at least for 4 out of those 5 markets, the expectation was this team should be in the postseason.
Yeah, no, I think it's a pretty good point. But it is amazing some of the resources provided. I mean, Aaron Boone, I don't know what exactly he anticipated he'd be getting into, because last year expectations weren't soaring for the Yankees, but they ended up winning 91 games. They got to within 1 win of the World Series. And so what do you do after that? After kind of overcoming all that stuff, you fire the guy who had been there for 10 years, won you a World Championship, gotten you to the postseason 6 out of the 10 years he had been there, and you hire a guy who's never managed a game at any level. They got rid of 9 players off their 25-man roster, their opening day roster last year. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. Runner going. Pitch a strike. Throw down to second. Not in time. And Gardner has his 5th stolen base of the year.
That was a good throw by Chirinos, and this one was really close. You mentioned it earlier. Brett Gardner could still run. Take a look at the replay right here. It's a good two-seam fastball. Called a strike. Good job by Chirinos, and this throws right on the money, but Brett Gardner just barely gets that left hand in front of the tag.
Three and one to Judge. That's a full count.
Well, you mentioned resources, of course, great roster to deal with, but then also the influence of the front office. All these guys are really young from a managerial standpoint, and they're all expected.
Ooh, strike three call. Judge down looking, and a nice strikeout for Jesse Chavez.
Aaron Judge didn't like it, but I think this was a pretty good call, and we've seen some inconsistency behind the plate on these low strikes, and a really nice job by Robinson Chirinos to present it to Jerry Davis. They have a lot of movement. Looked like a little cutter there from Jesse Chavez.
So now Stanton, and he takes strike one.
But to finish it up real quick, just the resources from the front office, their influence on defensive shifts, and what you do with your lineup, how you use your pitchers, all of that has been part of the process for all these young managers. They have to be open to it.
One and one. One ball, two strikes. So Aaron Boone, 33rd manager in Yankees history, also played for the ball club. Of course, his dad, former major league manager. Bob Boone. Yeah, his brother, who knows? Maybe one day he'll be a manager.
Brett Boone.
Played 2-2.
So we showed her 18th, right? Player to play for the Yankees and manage the team. That's certainly pretty cool.
Strikes was a pretty big number, too.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But not only did he play for the team, but he had a really big moment for the Yankees going back to 2003 off Tim Wakefield. ALCS Game 7. That one sent the Yankees to the World Series where they would meet the Florida Marlins, and the Marlins went on to win that World Series. But
Aaron Stinkin' Boone.
Aaron Boone, hated in Boston, loved in New York.
2-2.
I mean, that's it. That's the little kid dream.
Oh,
we all did it in our backyard. For me, it was yellow wiffle ball bat, throwing up rocks, hitting them into the woods.
yeah.
He actually got to do it.
Did you ever play with Aaron?
I did, yeah. Cincinnati minor leagues. He and I were drafted, same draft, 1994. We were the first two picks for the Reds that year.
Well, that just missed again. Full count now on Stanton. 2 out here, a man at second base.
We were both Chattanooga Lookouts at the same time in 1995.
Payoff. And this one hit on the ground short. Long throw, Profar. Great dig at first by Guzman. And the inning is done. Yankees will leave a man in scoring position. And we'll head to the bottom of the 8th.
Nice job here by Jurish and Profar. He knew he had a long throw. He knew he had to hurry the backhand, and he gives Ronald Guzman the long hop, a little bit easier to deal with, and just barely gets Stanton.
6th inning here. Our Ford pitching probables. We look ahead to the next, well, the game tomorrow. Domingo Germán will have the start for New York. Cole Hamels comes back out for the Rangers. Been a while for Hamels. The neck apparently okay. He was scratched from his start in Chicago last Thursday for neck stiffness. And man, it has taken forever for that thing to get loose. But he will be ready to go tomorrow.
It'll be good to see Cole Hamels back in the rotation. Of course, you know how important he is here for the Rangers. He'll have himself a nice battle. That'll certainly be a fun one to watch between him and the New York Yankees. We'll do that again tomorrow night. Be sitting there with Matt Moore.
Lazard takes a big swing at that one. 1-1 the count.
David Robertson in now for the Yankees. Game number 21 for him. That ERA a little bit higher than we're used to seeing, but still an excellent strikeout to walk ratio and an excellent opponent's batting average. It is 200 so far this year.
1-1 off the plate. So a walk earlier tonight. The other two at bats on the ground, and this one is up and away. So 3-1 the count. A decent night offensively for the Rangers. Unfortunately, a better night offensively for the Yankees. 3-1 pitch. And that is low, ball 4. Well, free base runners certainly help in the late innings. Robertson issues a free pass, so Mazara aboard now with Profar coming up.
And Robertson's had a really good year against left-handed hitters this year. A lot of times, you look and you think, well, would this be the ideal time for Aaron Boone maybe to go to a lefty, because it's lefty switch left. So you got basically 4 left-handed hitters in a row. But David Robertson just a 143 batting average against lefties so far this season. See the swing by Profar. Essentially, I think that was his way, without getting himself in too much trouble, of letting Jerry Davis know where he thought that pitch was.
Yep.
Well, if I was going to swing at it, here's where it would have been. Now look how high that is.
Seem absurd to anybody else? Ooh, good backdoor breaking ball. 0-2. Profar a hit and 2 tries, also a walk. In fact, the Rangers have drawn 5 walks. There's been 1 hit batter. So they've been given some extra runners tonight. Robertson's 0-2. In the dirt. Robertson, one of 3 guys in the Yankees bullpen when healthy, who originally drafted by the Yankees, lost to another team at some point, and then reacquired via trade. And that was sort of his story. Originally a 17th round pick by the Yankees. Ooh, this ball hit high in the air. Short right field, heading foul. Judge coming on and couldn't hold it. Tough play in that corner.
Certainly a very difficult play. Now that ball was skied in the air, and so Judge had time to get there, but it was just a matter of getting comfortable near the wall. He knew he was close, and he ended up just missing it. Start to go in there a little gingerly toward that wall, and Aaron Judge came up a little bit short on that pop-up. So Jurickson Profar gets another opportunity here against Robertson.
Now that swing, some aggression in it. Just got a little underneath it. Rangers down by 3 in the 8th. Bouncer first base side, playable for Austin. They'll allow Mazar to go to second base, one away. We'll bring up Joey Gallo. Well, Gallo chipping in on a big power display tonight. Look at this, 7 home runs in the game. The shortest home run we have seen, 416 feet, all the way up to 443 feet. We've seen almost 3,000 feet of homers. Pretty good night.
May have been crushed, hit hard. You see Gleyber Torres has one of those home runs tonight. Of course, Rugi does, Guzman.
Gleyber Torres has 2 of them.
Yeah, Joey Gallo.
Strike 1 on Gallo. His homer came in the 2nd inning. He's walked, he's flied out. 0-2 the count. "14 home runs for Joey. But he strikes out here. 2 away. Strikeouts have been a big part of the story for the Rangers this year. They continue to lead baseball with that statistic. Here is Rougned Odor, 3-run homer in the 4th inning.
And that 26.4% strikeout rate coming into this one was the highest in all of Major League Baseball. You can live with the strikeouts if the home runs are there, if the walks go along with it. The Yankees sit right in the middle. They're 15th in strikeout rate, so they're right around league average, but they lead in walks with a better than 11% walk rate to go along with the 2nd most home runs in the game coming into this one at 67 as a team. Strikeouts are okay, they can work. There's just the other pieces that have to come with it to make that offense sustainable and one that can compete.
It's like all things, CJ, moderation. 5 strikeouts tonight. That's not an absurd number. No. You can live with that.
Sure, especially with Tanaka going. I mean, his strikeouts haven't been what they've been in the past, but he's certainly a guy capable of putting up some good strikeout numbers.
Yeah, historically, one of the best in terms of strikeout rate. Dor takes in the dirt, 1-1.
But I do think we have seen some real good at-bats by the Rangers tonight. We saw Joey Gallo go out of the zone there a little bit with David Robertson struggling to lay off that breaking ball, but we also saw him lay off some good pitches from Masahiro Tanaka below the zone. We saw Jurickson Profar do it. And it's those kinds of things, those kinds of at-bats that these Rangers hitters just want to see a little bit more of. Certainly for Anthony Iapoce, Justin Mayshore, that's what it is. It's that discipline and being able to be a little bit more consistent in that area of the game.
Anthony. I'll tell you what, man, you talk about grinders. We always talk about the players grinding out all the work they do in the cage, on the field. The coaches,
yeah,
I don't know that we give coaches enough credit for the hours and hours that they put in, even beyond what the players do.
The job has changed significantly over the last few years. That's why you're seeing more assistant hitting coaches, assistant pitching coaches. There's a lot more work to be done. You have all the data that you have to deal with, and taking that in and putting it in a way that is digestible for your team. How do you get that information to them? How do you best use it without overwhelming them? And that's one small part of what you do. Of course, you got to be a psychologist, understanding your players. How do I best talk to them? How do I best communicate with them? And then you actually have to go do the work. Not just prepare reports and talk to your players, but then get in the cage, get in the bullpen, work on all those reps.
Good pitch. Odor agrees. Full count now. 1 for 3 tonight. With that big swing earlier, it was such a relief to see Odor hit one over the fence. 3-2. We'll foul that one off, so we'll do it again. Bottom of the 8th inning in a 3-run game. Mentioned earlier, this is the first of 3 against the Yankees here. It's for the season series, it'll be a 7-gamer. We'll head out to New York early August for a 4-game series. In fact, that will be the entire road trip. Mazzaro off second. 7th pitch of the at-bat. Ground ball right side. But Torres is there, and it ends the inning. So the Rangers come up empty in the 8th. We go to the 9th inning in a 3-run game. Rangers baseball is brought. Great display offensively tonight by both teams as we go to the 9th inning, 8-5 New York. Didi Gregorius starts things off, and Chavez fires in strike one. It's Gregorius, Gary Sanchez, and Aaron Hicks in the 9th. Yankees bidding for their 31st win of the year. It would be 30-13. After a 9-9 start. Pretty amazing. Chavez trying to keep this a 3-run game. Rangers threatened a little bit last inning. And there's a strikeout of Gregorius. One away here in the 9th inning. Nicely done.
It's a good job by Jesse Chavez, consistently staying away from Gregorius and elevating there, getting him out of the zone. 0-2 count. Fastball, changeup, fastball. Nice job.
Jesse last inning allowed a walk. A strikeout of Gregorius, his second. And he puts one right in there to Gary Sanchez. Sanchez today, a hit in 4 tries. He's grounded out, popped up, struck out. And he's in a hole 0-2. Chavez going right after these guys. Jesse, a veteran right-hander, originally drafted and developed by the Rangers. Now back with his original club. The 0-2 pitch, and that one is a fair ball. Whoa, that one caroms all the way out into left field. Sanchez to second. He'll hold there with a 1-out double. Mark Carlson was right on top of it down at third. And admittedly, we don't have the greatest angle up here. He made a definitive call, though.
There's the pitch. It looked like that one backed up a little bit on Jesse and stayed up in the zone. See that leg kick from Gary Sanchez. He was actually out front a little bit. Did that bounce in front of third base?
Yeah, bounce in front of third base.
That looked foul.
And really turned foul.
That looked foul.
A little surprised by that one. But not reviewable. Ball in front of the base, fair foul. There is no review.
Yeah, no doubt. As Jesse Chavez asks Robinson Chirinos to come out. Let's take a look here. That's in front of the, all right, I can see where you can make an argument, yeah, for the corner of the bag, but he said it was hooking so much. That's close. All right, Ray.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything. Yeah.
You got a problem with my call?
Why don't we talk about it a little later? Hicks 0 for 3 with a walk. And this is the part of the order that tonight has been the quietest for New York. I mean, it's a small part of the order. 6 and 7 hitters. 2-0 the count. Hicks 4 home runs, 17 RBIs. The average was at 250 coming in, so that's taken a little bit more damage so far tonight. It's 2-1. First game on this homestand. There's a series with the Yankees and then a 4-game series with Kansas City beginning Thursday night. So it's interesting the great difference in the two teams. Boy, Hicks just lost it high in the air, deep out there to right field, and that one is gone. 8th home run of the ball game by these two teams. That one worth 2 runs. It's 10-5 New York.
Let's take a look at the pitch here from Jesse. And that one up a little bit higher than he wanted it, trying to go down and away with the changeup at 87 miles an hour. I think that's going to be our first sub-400 homer.
396 feet. So there it is.
Really? It's close.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Nope. 369 feet. Transpose those numbers. Kind of suddenly I'm a little embarrassed for Aaron Hicks.
We'll let that guy in here.
Yeah. Don't make eye contact with anybody after the game here. Can't hit it 415 feet. It's not worth hitting. I jest. I was impressive if for no other reason than the launch angle. I mean, that thing was way up there. Towering home run. 5th of the year for Hicks. As I mentioned, 8th in the game. We had an 8-homer game earlier this year in Cleveland. There's a bouncer right side. Odor stays with it. And they get Tyler Austin. 2 gone. Let's see if the yellow line can catch the ball on this one.
Race is on. You're right. That one got way up there. But didn't go nearly as far. 100 miles an hour on the exit velocity. 369 feet. That projected distance. Marcus Tim's the hitting coach right there next to Hicks.
Shortstop. Good play by Profar. And they get Neil Walker. So the inning is done. Well, Ronald Guzman, he blasted one earlier tonight. He'll bat second in the bottom of the 9th.
of the same late, hoping for a big bottom of the 9th inning as they trail 10-5 to New York. Dana Larson along with Darren Oliver and Mark McLemore will have Rangers Live presented by Fios coming up right after the game. Mac, what are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm going to talk about the Rangers home run hitters tonight, but unfortunately the Yankees home run hitters kind of outdid them tonight.
Drew, Darren, you going pitching?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about some of the home runs that some of the pitchers were giving up tonight, so unfortunately.
The home runs from the pitching perspective from Darren. We'll have that. We'll hear from the skipper and key players in the clubhouse, all that and so much more right after the game. Dave and CJ?
Nice job, guys, matching the shirts with Dana's dress. Why did we do that with Emily?
Yeah, that's a good call.
You guys aren't smart enough.
Obviously.
You got that right.
Because we talked before this show, that's why.
Not organized enough. Well, good and bad news. You've been talking good and bad a lot tonight. Yeah. Bad news, Rangers are down by 5. Good news, that means Aroldis Chapman doesn't pitch tonight. Instead, it's Jonathan Holder on for the 13th time this season.
So Holder gets Chirinos, Guzman, and then DeShields. Holder pitched a couple of days ago. 3 days ago at Kansas City. Hasn't allowed an earned run in his last 9 appearances. It was 1-1 on Chirinos. In fact, since being recalled on April 21st, he has retired 31 of the 35 batters he has faced. You and I were asked in the pregame show today to discuss, who's better, what pitching staff do you like better between the Yankees and the Red Sox? And I think I like the Red Sox rotation a little better. But boy, the depth of the Yankees bullpen. Because people aren't going to talk a whole lot about Jonathan Holder per se. They're going to talk about Aroldis Chapman.
Sure.
High pop-up. Headed down that right side and not playable. But there is such depth with this Yankee pen. They're pretty scary.
They're really good. We saw Chad Green earlier. You saw the stuff. The high velocity was such an important part of their bullpen a year ago. Tommy Kahnle, another big arm that has been on the DL that could be coming back pretty soon. He was very important a year ago to the New York Yankees when he came over from the White Sox. He had a year where he was averaging nearly 14 strikeouts per 9. And a lot of people are like, who? But yeah, Tommy Kahnle, he's been around for a little while, played on a couple different teams, but he is an impact reliever. It's not just the names that you know, Betances, Chapman, Robertson.
Chirinos pops this one up in a short left. Gardner is there. One away. Well, Ronald Guzman showed off a little bit tonight in the 7th.
He certainly did, and he got himself a fastball down the middle. We were talking about Chad Green. Get a good look at the swing path and get a really nice look at this bomb at 443 feet, well into the second deck here at Globe Life.
There are the distances
Thanks.
Tonight on the home runs. And pretty impressive. Guzman takes in the dirt. Ronald 1 for 2. Hit by a pitch in the 4th inning. You know, strikeouts are obviously in today's game a very big part of it for bullpens. But just in general, 1-1 the count. Yankees had 5 relievers last year that averaged at least 12.2 strikeouts per 9. 5 guys. 1-2 the count. Betances, Kahnle, Chad Green, David Robertson, Chapman. Man.
A lot of swing and miss, and it really does play well in the postseason. I think that's part of the reason why we saw the Yankees make that run. You mentioned they lost it in 7 games to the Astros. They were leading that series 3-2. Looked like they had a legitimate chance to be in the World Series last year. They could not finish off the Astros.
And Guzman strikes out swinging. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 9th. So Rangers down to their final out.
Center fielder, Delino DeShields.
Well, down by 5. Delino quite obviously can't win this. But I tell you, Would really love to see this guy get a hit here. He needs something to build on. It's been a struggle lately. It's done such a great job in center field and was outstanding in that leadoff spot the first, whatever it was, 20 games or so. But he's in a bad way right now. 0 for 4 tonight. Needs something to turn for him. 1-1. Colon was chasing a little history tonight. He came up short in that regard. We knew there'd be some home runs in this one, and we have not been disappointed in that. 8 of them so far. And now maybe just a moral victory at the end would be nice for Delino here. 2 for his last 32, and he takes just a bit in. That's a tough take right there.
That's a pretty good pitch. Not a call you're going to see very often on 0-2 counts. See it right there, just in off the plate. Excuse me, 1-2.
Popped up, shallow right field. Judge is there, and that'll do it. So the Rangers go quietly in the bottom of the 9th inning, and it's a 10-5 Yankees win in the opener. All right, well, Dana Larson, Mark McLemore, and Darren Oliver, they just teased you a moment ago. Plenty to talk about from tonight's game, all the player reaction and analysis. For CJ Nitkowski and Emily Jones, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. We've got more coverage of Rangers baseball right after this.